I know that people love using the longer videos to have on in the background when they're either working or maybe falling asleep, so I got the ultimate one for you right here. The only sleep video that you'll ever need. A collection of the stock fifth choices from the Patreon polls. This is one of my favorite gimmicks on the show, and it all kind of started organically too. I think that the first Patreon poll episode that I did was tying into the release of Independence Day Resurgence. So I had picked like a couple of mockbusters. I think there was an adult parody in there, and I needed just like a fifth choice. So I go, oh, well, there was a movie in 1983 that was kind of forgotten about, and it happened to also be called Independence Day. Did not expect that to win the poll at all. And then it did, by quite a lot of votes, too. So when I did another poll, I had the drama choice be Windy City, thinking it was also going to win right away. Like, I jumped the gun and even ordered a DVD of it that week in preparation that it was going to win. But then it didn't. I think it might have come in last, actually. That was when I got the idea of, well, it'll stay on the poll until it wins. I've already bought the DVD. This will be kind of a fun gimmick. Let's see how far it goes before eventually it gets picked. A lot of months went by and it did get picked. I think it only won by 1 or 2 votes or something like that. The one that stayed on the poll the longest was Something Short of Paradise, that I think was on there for a couple of years. The one that was the quickest was Dreamer, so I guess a lot of people were really wanting some Tim Matheson bowling rom-com dramedy action there. The quality of the films, they kind of vary. There's the forgettable ones, you know, Independence Day 83, Windy City, Dreamer, you know, those are the ones that kind of stay in the mediocre category. Then there was the one that was surprisingly good, which was Soup for One. Then there was the really, really bad ones. That's where you got Until September and Something Short of Paradise. Those were the two where it was like, these are actually kind of hard to get through, but I'm getting a lot of material out of them. So I like doing these, where it's like a challenge, these forgotten melodramas, where it's like, okay, let me see if I could get some comedy out of some of these movies where nothing happens. It doesn't really matter anyway. You've got this video on to fall asleep to. You'll be fast asleep while these movies are playing. So I hope you have a very nice night and wake up fully refreshed. Well, the Patreon viewers have decided, and between a list of choices that included a sci-fi original movie and a porno spoof, the clear winner of this week's episode is a goddamn 80s romantic melodrama? What the fuck? That's like doing a viewer's choice on bad Chicago movies and having Blues Brothers 2000 and Poltergeist 3 beaten out by Windy City. And what is with forgotten 80s romance movies having a poster color scheme that makes them look post-apocalyptic? Look, I thought the porno spoof was gonna win too. Or maybe I just hoped it would, since that would take far less time and get far more hits, but ID83 was ahead by so much that I ended up calling it 12 hours before voting ended, which made the Disaster Bros very unhappy. So basically, Patreon subscribers paid their hard-earned money to be bored! A common theme in the thread seemed to be that people thought ID83 was gonna be along the lines of Moment by Moment or Endless Love. Have we gotten so cynical that the suggestion of any romance means it's gonna be an unholy disaster of moment-by-moment proportions? You could've just asked me. The answer is no! Or you could've just watched the trailer.
Follow your dreams and do
Independence Day.
what you love to do.
Growing up in a small town is no problem.
Then why am I watching a movie about it?
Kathleen Quinlan stars as Mary Ann Taylor, a small-town waitress with big dreams of becoming a photographer. Then she meets the rugged Jack Parker. Weird how the movie is about a photographer, but the first 30 seconds are a black screen. So did they leave the lens cap on? Ugh, blatant product placement for Nikon camera. And she's lucky she's not a gross neckbeard, or doing something like this would get her arrested immediately. From this angle here, it feels like she's 8 feet tall. The opening isn't nearly as jolly as the opening of Cover Up.
I don't think there's gonna be any spies in this film.
And why does the water tower have a dick? David Keith plays Jack, who has just returned to town, and his meet cute with Mary Ann involves her being an idiot.
Mary Ann Taylor.
You son of a bitch!
I'm sure they have a lot to catch up on.
What is it you call that?
C'est un chapeau, un top. Parker, it's a hat.
Never used to wear stuff like that before.
You don't get to judge people for having stupid-looking hats. He gives her a lift to work, and David Keith is doing very well at playing romance movie stuntman Mike. Mary Ann works at the local diner, and Jack is only interested in her because of the time portal in the back room. Must be a restaurant that only serves dying old ladies. Not sure why this scene is sandwiched between her getting dropped off and her working. This place is fantastic when you're hungover at 3 a.m. The most unrealistic thing about the movie is that there's not a single person here named Flo. But oddly enough, the script was written by someone named Alice. As you can see, Mary Ann is taking care of her dying mother.
Mama, what are you doing out here?
Honey, I just want to get some air. I'm not dead yet.
Spoiler alert!
And she's trying to get into a California university to study photography.
You used to say any school that didn't take you was crazy.
That's any school around here. It's different in California. They got standards.
Well, that was before reality television and kale.
I can picture you in Los Angeles. You'll be going all over with that camera of yours.
Ah, yes, she's gonna be the most beloved Californian. The paparazzi!
But if you have big dreams, just close your eyes and think about it for a while.
At some point, they started thinking about Burt Reynolds' naked photo shoot.
Jack returns to visit his family, which includes his sister Nancy, played by Diane Wiest, and his father, who doesn't much get along with Jack.
Les, honey, dinner's ready.
Okay, look, I gotta go.
Face it, you're a loser.
Dad doesn't need much setup or even any context to call his son a loser.
Dad much prefers his son-in-law Les, played by Cliff DeYoung, but only because he hasn't seen him bitching in the kitchen or crying in the bedroom all night. Les is abusive to his wife, not that Dad is much better.
Whee! Yeah! Granddaddy's big
Dad,
monkey.
please stop it.
Don't you tell your father what to do.
Please.
Sound like a tree! Sound like a tree! Yeah! He loves it!
Okay, slow down, Oliver Reed from Burnt Offerings. Only way this could be more awkward is if Dad admitted to taking pictures of kids in trucks. Hopefully, this next scene will be more pleasant.
After she cut up his body, she stuffed him into jars, mason jars.
What? Well, now it seems more like something I'd review.
Damn, Kathleen is chain-smoking in this film. She gives Jack his headshots for his Biff Tannen auditions, and then asks him out.
You better pick me up at my house tonight, Jack Parker. You may never get another chance like this again.
That's just plain not true. He works with the sexy Richard Farnsworth. Somehow I think their date is going to include a dish of something deep fried.
Well, what are you doing out there, Jack Parker? I don't have time to wait for any man. I don't care who he is.
This night's gonna end with a ball gag and a cattle prod.
Mary Ann may have invented the concept of the man bun, but she did not perfect it. Random thought, you know what this movie needs? Wingshauser, or Sandra Locke, or Deborah Winger. Something about all of that makes sense. So, what's this date gonna be like?
Slow down. You're giving the chemistry between Carmen and Terry Copley from Riot a run for its money.
And that's including when they do talk.
You know, some people might say that a girl who comes here alone is cheap, but honestly, I think anybody who says that ought to be shot straight through the heart.
Not every first date in the South has a conversation about concealed carry. That's a second date topic.
Uh-oh, is that Les cheating on his wife? It could be his twin, Farley Flavors. Honest mistake. So Jack takes Mary Ann to the point. It's less sex and more watching car races.
So this is what you like to do?
Yeah, he masturbates when they wreck. Southern Crash doesn't feel as sleazy. What's this? He's getting in on the racing action now? I said he, not she.
No, I meant you could watch from over there.
You know, with the rest of the tits.
Oh, over there. Oh, lovely. What are they talking about over there? Mascara? Oh, no. No, they're comparing hairstyles.
Joke's on you. They're actually talking about muffin recipes. Don't you feel stupid?
This area feels like it smells of Coors Light and week old prime rib. Oh, this is so intense. Alive and Well Race 2000 doesn't quite have the same ring to it. This date is gonna end swell.
Yes, a handshake, much like closing a business deal. Neither situation is gonna end in sex.
So Jack tries again, might as well, she still thinks he's Kurt Russell. She shows him her portfolio, and he gets way more interested when it gets to the pictures from the Corto Maltese. I, for one, am too distracted by the awkward cuts they're inserting, as opposed to using pan and scan.
Not that it matters, I'm still gonna scold this movie for not being in widescreen.
The two sneak into Travis Bickle's apartment, the perfect place for more awkward conversation.
Look, I don't care who you've been with before. From now on, you're gonna be with me.
That may seem creepy, but when you compare him to Clay Walsh, he'll at least be in the same room with her. He won't make her practice cutting up baby food on their first date, and he's probably respectful to strippers.
Plus, he actually kisses her, and does what he wanted to do at the end of Officer and a Gentleman. Cue the love montage. He must be in love with his car, since it's showing that more than it is Mary Ann. And what are you looking at? Because it's not the camera. Unfortunately, the school she's applying to is only accepting 25 out of 700 candidates. This movie is just like Flashdance, only replace Laura Branigan with more spousal abuse.
Jack, what a nice surprise.
Nancy!
Hi.
Why do you keep opening the goddamn door?
Come on in.
Because someone knocked, you jackass!
Jack wants to borrow money from Les because of the big race coming up.
Everybody I know wants to borrow money from me. What gave everybody this idea that I had all this dough?
That's a fair question, considering Les looks like a dipstick.
Although he just happens to have that kind of cash on him, like an asshole.
Well, you just love to be here all alone with me out of town, wouldn't you?
No.
No. Yeah, sure, you bring some stranger back here the first night I'm gone.
She's gonna light you on fire, especially when he starts throwing matches at her.
Hey, what are you doing?
No, this is just a little game we play. She likes it.
Oh, yeah? Well, I don't like it.
How am I supposed to react to this? This is more awkward than Lloyd watching his old racist cartoons.
Move, boy, fellas. Let's rock the joint. Groove it, cats.
He should really be more offended by that.
Just like Jack should be a little more offended that some twerp is throwing matches at his sister.
Kick his ass! This display is really ruining Jack's day of watching Mary Ann sleep.
You think many women get beat up?
He's asking whether spousal abuse exists?
It can't be. No woman's gonna put up with getting beat. She wouldn't stay with a man like that. She'd just get up and walk out the door.
You sound like you'd have a very winning Twitter account. It's very pro-Cosby and anti-progress. God damn, I want Nancy's story to turn into a revenge film.
You know, I wish Les wasn't coming home tonight. It's kind of like it was before you got married.
Ugh. Next, is Jack gonna ask whether incest is a thing? I have a feeling we're soon gonna find out why Helen Buckman is Sans husband in Parenthood. I guess I could've asked her nephew, but he tried to fucking kill me! David Keith is instantly woken up by a phone call telling him that he lost another role to Keith David. Actually, it's that his sister tried committing suicide. Could it have to do with her abusive husband?
Stop it! Jack! Let go of him! Hey, listen to me. If you hurt her, I'll break your fucking neck.
Don't just come right out and tell him that. Get on his good side and then strangle him the Corleone way. Nancy is staying in the mental ward, and it gets really weird when the other patients keep watching slasher films and insist that they're true stories. What a time to be alive.
I'm pregnant.
Well, that's great. Isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. That's why she tried killing herself. I joke, but this is actually really depressing.
I don't want to go home. I don't want to go home. I don't want to go.
Nancy?
Good choice, Internet! And as Jack leaves, now they have the opportunity to dream about naked Burt Reynolds as the camera backs away. It's 53 minutes in, and now I know why it's called Independence Day, though I've never seen someone combine their love for the 4th of July with their diaper fetish. Come on, sweetie, didn't you always want brush scratches on your heels? And take off that stupid hat, John Deere. Independence Day is also Acid Day in the South. It's also the day in which couples pose for movie box covers. Better than the poster, which makes it look like it's taking place in Jesus times. Ah, good. A double date with danger. Maybe Les will be nicer to his wife.
Doesn't she look great?
Great.
I do not.
You do? I'm telling you. Ever since you got back from the hospital, you look just like a movie star.
Yeah, you look just like that lady from Bullets Over Broadway. I see Jack and Les's first date also ends in a handshake. Oddly enough, it's not Les that makes things uncomfortable.
I mean, are you gonna make it legal and get married, or what?
Yeah.
No.
Rejected. Someone should liven the mood by shooting another person. Or acting like you're gonna snap at a moment's notice.
I thought you'd be sort of crazy.
Really?
Yeah. But you're not. Not one bit.
Oh, yes, I am. You just can't see it. I hide it.
Well, you're not hiding it very well. That's a face that says Les is gonna end up a eunuch by the end of the movie. Mary Ann claims she stopped thinking about L.A., and so has the movie. The Nancy subplot takes way more precedence over the main plot. Maybe now she'll get back into her never mind. Mom's collapsed. Don't worry, she's fine. Ah, the good old days. Back when there was more smoking in hospitals than insured patients. This may be sad, but look, Kathleen Quinlan in a bra. That'll put a smile on your face. You take that hard-boiled attitude and you turn it sunny side up, little missy. But there is good news. She got into the university, and she's even gotten a scholarship. Says the man in charge who claims that she has the best photographs he's ever seen. Okay.
Mr. Malone, excuse me. This was real nice of you, but I'm not going.
But the bad news is, she's an idiot. Only one thing will change her mind, the sight of David Keith's ass. She's afraid to leave town because she had a premonition of what happens to her in the movie Breakdown. But she decides to accept the scholarship. Step 1, dress more like Nastasia Kinski from the movie Exposed. She looks like someone who uses the words gauche and apropos, even though she doesn't know what either means. Smoking in the hospital? Drinking while pregnant? How did I survive this decade? Oh, great. Brad Major Shithead is home.
I don't see any dinner here.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
I know you're waiting for another shock treatment reference, but the movie already did that for me earlier.
Do you have shock therapy?
So instead, I just really want someone to shoot him. Preferably before he beats the shit out of his pregnant wife, which Marianne immediately tells Jack about.
I'm just over at Nancy's house. He's beating her up right now.
Nope, not my fucking problem. Just kidding. And why does this movie keep reminding me that I should be watching The Godfather? This is for 2012 Doomsday, and Carnosaur 2, and The Skateboard Kid. This scene is actually part of the Little Scene sequel, Every Which Way But Wife Beating. And where are their kids during this whole movie? Are they on an extended Independence Day vacation? Is that a thing? Les wants revenge. By the way, bro, I guarantee Jax is bigger. Oh wait, this is almost exactly like the abuse subplot in The Godfather. After he gets the shit kicked out of him, he asks her to call her brother, thus setting him up for, I don't know, getting shot at a toll booth? Well, never mind. It's like The Godfather of Talia Shire blew up both her and her husband. Now how's he supposed to take over the entire human race? Cliff DeYoung was in shock treatment. And I'm pretty sure no one is attending Les's funeral.
I'm sorry about Nancy.
It took you till the funeral to say that? You were there when he found out! And what does Jack and Nancy's dad think of all of this? He seemed to be the only one who liked Les. Also, it's a little insensitive of you to be smoking at this funeral. Marianne wants Jack to go to LA with her, for good reason. This place sucks.
And by the time my mama dies, I'm gonna be sitting in Los Angeles. I'll be sitting in the sun. Please leave Mercury with me.
I don't know, though. If you want to stay close to the sun, you should probably stay on Mercury. So Jack decides to go to LA, or not.
I'm not going to Los Angeles. I'm staying here.
I don't care either way. Probably because he's not very likable.
Maybe you led me on. Maybe I thought you were gonna stay. You made it sound so damn hard to get into that school of yours.
Oh, you're...
Look, honey, all I'm saying is I had absolutely no faith in you succeeding. And yes, this is the type of movie to feature someone storming out of the room.
Go. If you're so hot to go to Los Angeles, right there's the goddamn door. Go.
Hardly. It keeps going. Oh, and Mom might be dead. Not sure. Best leave before finding out. Can't have another death in the last 10 minutes. She does have a dad, too, but her smokes have more of an appearance in the movie than her father. While Marianne does leave for L.A., Jack decides that he doesn't want to live his life in a Ross Hagen movie, so he decides to take his car to L.A. where he can crash into more things, unless he's going on a honeymoon with his one true love, his trophy, and where he works as a mail-order Conway Twitty. The film has a happy ending, I guess, with the two ending up together. It ends on a shot of a dirty pool for some reason, foreshadowing that she's moved to LA to murder Joe Gillis. I don't know. I still don't even know why this movie is called Independence Day, since the holiday itself is only in 5 minutes of the film, and it certainly didn't end with her gaining her independence.
Unless it's talking about Diane Weist's independence from her abusive husband and life. So, was that worth it? I hope so, because it's made the rest of my day fucking depressing. Independence Day seems like the type of romance film that was made off the heels of Urban Cowboy or An Officer and a Gentleman, only with slightly more mayo. No, not Zach Mayo, just mayo in general. The fact that this movie has never received any kind of DVD release shows that even the movie studio has forgotten about its existence. Oh, never mind, it's on the Warner Archive collection. Whatever, it may be in widescreen, but I highly doubt it has a commentary by Les's Matches. If I want to see a movie about big city dreams and domestic violence, I'll stick with... Lloyd, can you turn that down? I'm trying to make a stupid movie comparison here. Whatever. I don't know what movie I'd rather stick with. I'm too busy thinking about how I'd rather blow myself up. The Independence Day porno spoof may not have been the one chosen, but I sure as hell feel like I just got fucked.
Angina. Shit.
Wow. It actually won the poll for once. That's right, after months of being the stock forgettable melodrama in the Patreon polls, the 1984 film Windy City won by 1%. And I have a theory about this. The poll was for an Alien Covenant tie-in episode, and the last time an 80s melodrama won, it was Independence Day 1983, which was for the Independence Day Resurgence tie-in poll. Patreon would rather see a lame 80s drama than a movie with aliens in them. That's my theory. But since I constantly put this movie in the Patreon polls, clearly that must mean the movie is crazy, and I'm very desperate to do an episode on it because of its wackiness. Not even a little bit! Nothing happens in this movie! You're all gonna be super disappointed! Most of you aren't even gonna make it to the end of this episode! Hey, remember this scene from Independence Day 83? Nothing remotely like that happens here. But you can really feel the excitement over in the Patreon comments, such as, how is Windy City winning? You're just gonna keep putting up Windy City till it wins, aren't you? I used to legitimately vote for Windy City, now I do so begrudgingly. That's okay, that's how most people are gonna watch this episode. Begrudgingly. And my favorite one is voted for Alien Origin, mainly because I don't want to feel responsible if Windy City wins. Alien Origin came in at a distant third. If you wanted Windy City to lose, you should have voted for Alien Terminator, which came in at 30% versus Windy City's 31%. You totally contributed to Windy City winning. Windy City is the story of a writer and his friends who are huge fans of The Big Chill and starred in a ripoff of it. Believe me when I tell you there's more action on this post-apocalyptic looking poster than in the movie. Me and my friends, we had a dream once. Life was gonna be a great adventure and we were gonna be the heroes. Too bad none of that happens in the movie. Y'all wasted your fucking life and you just spend this movie sitting around complaining about shit. Take that, poster. Hell, as adults, they look like the grown-up version of the Buttercream Gang. They've grown up to frequently use the word buttercreaming on the back page. And now to actually review Windy City. I'll use this time to think of another forgettable 80s drama to replace it in the upcoming Patreon polls. Oh, it's gonna be so easy for my mind to wander during this. You sure this is theatrical? That silent logo just screams, stay tuned for an all-new episode of Alice!
But as the poster says, the dream is alive in the Windy City.
So let's get some lively opening credits with beautiful Chicago scenery. Come on, baby, don't you want to go back to that same old place? Sweet home, Chicago.
Funny, we see the music credit before we hear any actual sound. The music really is niche. It starts out like all great movies do, by showing us another movie. I guess we know what won Windy City's poll for the Pirates of the Caribbean 5 tie-in. I'm assuming this is a flashback scene.
Me and my friends, we had a dream once. That life was going to be a great adventure.
I read the poster.
The main character is Danny, and as kids, he and his friends were a group called the Rogues.
We used to hang out, playing ball, chasing after all the girls, and making plans. Big plans. See, we were going to be like the guys in the movies.
But mostly, we just sat around and watched TV. And here's our hero doing his best Matt Dillon and reminiscing about when his buddy died trying to swallow a football. With John Shea in the lead, who knew Lex Luthor's origin would be so lame? Now look, Six Flags Great America is closed for the season. Watching the drawbridges is the next best thing for Danny. Also, another option is jerking off in the coat room at his friend Mickey's club. Not to mention having a circle jerk with Mickey while checking out the woman that you're in love with.
There ain't nobody like us.
That's because everyone else is having fun and drinking while you're fondling each other in the coat room. Almost Griffin Dunn seems to have a successful club, but anything can be packed when you put out a call for extras. And here's what's left of the Rogues. Can I see an update on the Wanderers instead?
Do you know what the girls used to say about us?
They said, who are those idiots who keep quoting stupid-ass pirate movies?
Now he's depressed after reading the script to Blues Brothers 2000. Danny tells us more about his writing and the people who have stood by his side.
My best friend, Saul, was in the hospital, dying.
Oh, Saul's dying? Who's Saul? Danny is thinking back about his ex Emily, who is getting married. He met her when dressed like a mailman to deliver door-to-door porn scenes. You know the problem with her, it's the noise. I'm not used to seeing Kate Capshaw introduced without a rousing rendition of Anything Goes.
Am I the only one who has seen Temple of Doom so many times in the past 33 years that it actually sounds weird to me when I hear Anything Goes in English?
Well, let's see how Danny and Emily hit it off.
Here we go. This is very interesting.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, tell me. How do you see?
All right, here. It's going to rain on your wedding day.
Wow, he is a writer. He wrote the lyrics to Ironic. He tries kissing her, which doesn't go well, because he didn't bring her a basket of fruit first.
Like, please, dear God, there's got to be some old-fashioned men out there.
No, you don't want an old-fashioned man. He'll just make you wait outside while he fixes your sink.
Then he killed her. Or maybe not. Maybe he's in the hospital to pick up Josh Must Comic Relief.
What are you doing?
Guess we're not going to answer that. Now I'll never know what Danny was doing.
This is Saul, by the way. I hope he doesn't die. Now Saul breaks it to the gang that he was totes in the war. Actually, he just saw a diner and wants to stick his dick in a popcorn bag. That'd be better than this conversation.
Don't worry. Help is on the way.
Okay, let's get Saul over to Arkham Asylum. Chicago is also Gotham City. It has to be around here somewhere. Danny has other things to worry about, such as more flashbacks.
I'm late for work.
So am I.
I can't be late for work.
If Danny ever loses the Christmas spirit, the ghost of Christmas past isn't gonna have dick to work with.
He also makes her soup, but she's instantly not interested when she realizes there's no eyeballs in it.
Alright. No more Temple of Doom references.
Danny sure does miss Emily, who is still engaged to someone else in the present. Perhaps Saul has some advice.
Caller,
No.
what have you got to lose?
No, because what am I supposed to say? You know, what? Hello, I know it's a little late. I know you're getting married on Sunday, and suddenly I realized I can't live without you.
Great! That's great!
That's terrible advice. I'm not a huge fan of the Windy City spin-off, Better Not Call Saul.
And stop referencing better movies.
It's never too late. Dustin Hoffman would not have let her get away. I mean, he ran to that church and was pounding on the glass. Elaine! Elaine!
Yeah, that way you can sit in the back of a bus and contemplate your life choices.
You know what The Graduate was missing? Pirates.
We should have been pirates. We could have been great pirates.
I never thought I would say this in a review for Windy City, but what the hell do pirates have to do with anything?
So he goes the old endless love route and spies on Emily through her window. Now to flash back to when they went stupid hat shopping. But I'm more focused on the news of the day. Gays to picket Dem convention.
Well, that was a different time.
But back to this non-romance.
I think we should get married and have a family. Say yes.
Married?
I wonder if they'll get married, seeing how they're not together in the present.
You know, for a smart girl, you really don't understand men.
Well, then teach me.
Men are stupid. You're supposed to propose to them by shoving a pie in their face. That's pretty much it.
Wait, this isn't Chicago. Public displays of ketchup were outlawed in '82.
We're only 20 minutes in. There's still 80 minutes of this movie left. I sure hope there's a talking dog.
What? This is a tuna fish sandwich. And dogs don't like tuna fish.
That's where you're wrong, B. I'll especially eat your tuna in a burrito. Sorry, Charlie. Oh, and Saul is the godfather now.
What is this?
It's a dog.
What the fuck are you wearing? Anyway, the news.
Ready? The Barzini sisters have been delivering singing telegrams since last Christmas when...
I guess there's one thing slower than this movie. The news day.
I might as well leave my job early and hang out with Josh Mostel and son of the producers.
Yeah!
Okay.
He's gonna get fired for leaving his news report.
They even get Mickey in on this limo trip by convincing him they have severed legs in the limo. And now they're off to kidnap Murph of Murph and the Magic Tones. They're getting this band back together. This is gonna be some party.
Then I go to jail.
All right, Eddie!
Jail does not get a yay. Are you guys even listening to anything anyone says? Hey fellas, I got cancer and only have days to live. Yay!
Now to get shot in the face for intruding. See, I told you this was a valid choice in last year's Halloween episode poll. Perhaps Bobby here will join them.
What do you want me to do? Just walk back in there and say, hey, Linda, I'm out of here.
Again with the yaying. Guys, I can't go with you. If I do, it'll be the last straw and my wife will divorce me due to my crippling alcoholism. Yay!
Now to pose for the 1984 SNL cast photo and go crash a college party.
All part of the disappointing sequel, The Medium-Sized Chill.
Though these folks know how to party.
And then the Rogues died. Chicago mourns their loss every year by not acknowledging them.
Hey, don't hog the old style. This is a drinking scene in Chicago. Don't worry about Ted, he'll wake up when we stick a broom handle in his ass. And now they're all super tiny and walking across Saul's head. Just kidding, that's not what's really happening. That would be more realistic.
Open your eyes.
What? The cast is also perplexed about what the fuck this has to do with anything. Does Saul want them to walk the plank or go raping and pillaging? I know it's because they all watched pirate movies as kids and wanted to go on adventures, but I watched Die Hard as a kid and didn't want to jump off of buildings. Ugh. Well, maybe they'll sleep this off.
What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? Early in the morning.
This movie is super lame. Lake Michigan was frequently flooded with pirate ships in '84. It was the weirder side of Reaganomics. And then Saul gets sad because he's a grown man rowing a boat to a pirate ship. If you think this is a buzzkill, wait until the pirates remove your fingers to get to your jewelry. Saul is taken to the hospital. His friends are super concerned. How is this rated R? How are any of you rated R? Sorry guys, I'm taking off. The opening already told me Saul dies, so what's the point? Everyone else gives up on Saul except Danny. He cares so much about him he flashes back to a scene not involving Saul.
I want to shave my mustache off.
I am on the edge of my seat wondering if he's gonna shave his mustache. People keep calling me Mr. Cotter and I don't have any funny jokes to tell them. Poor Danny has a bit of writer's block.
Do you know that you're always telling me the greatest stories about you and your friends and Saul and your adventures and all those things? You should write that down on paper because that's the stuff you know about.
Sweetie, those were all lies. We sat around and watched pirate movies all day. By the way, this escalates fast.
Don't feel like writing. I don't.
Well, you could write about a guy with severe anger issues. It took this movie 40 minutes to get to an emotion. Any emotion! Or he could write about a talking dog.
What? Look, they don't allow dogs in this building.
Come on, B, put a hat and trench coat on me. I'll blend in like the little rascals. Who says Danny can't write? Witness the power of the coming home with groceries scene. At least now he has an in with Emily. He gives her the talking dog.
Wait, this is not a dinosaur. Right? This is a very special dog. This is a talking dog.
See? What? I was kidding.
Fairy tales can come true.
Danny?
What can happen
Danny?
to you?
That's not what I sound like, B. Sinatra's more of a Puchinsky thing. So, are they gonna get back together?
So you're getting married. Now, does that mean that we won't be dating anymore?
No, I'll still be dating.
Good.
I love Kate Capshaw, and God bless her for giving a laugh in this film. And then he confides in his dying friend, as if Saul doesn't have enough going on in his soon-to-end life.
How can you be dying?
Oh, it's the easiest thing I ever did. The white blood cells are...
No, don't joke!
Yeah, fuck you, dying asshole. This is your fault. I'm sure there's something we could cut to, other than Saul dying. Finally, an action scene. Danny wants to cheer Saul up by having them all get on a boat and sail off, because that totally worked out the last time. Except everyone else has lives.
I gotta tell you something. When I'm holding this kid in my arms, it's better than all the good times.
I think your kid had a stroke because that smile is permanently plastered on his face. Anyone else want to help Saul?
Danny, some dreams just don't come true.
Dreams are dead in the Windy City. Actually, dreams do come true. You just have to wait till 2016. Anyone else for Saul?
Danny, I don't like boats. I can't swim. I get seasick. Just...
Was the alternate title of this movie Fuck Saul?
How about you, Mickey?
I can't just take off like that. I got investments that I'm responsible to. I got 45 tables out there. I got to put food on. I know.
Ferris Bueller 2. Ferris can take the day off work, but chooses not to because Saul is no Cameron.
Well, why not? What, are you so busy? Yes, I am so busy.
Well, another vote for Fuck Saul.
So let's party instead. You may think this is a Halloween party, but Chicago was very different under Mayor Harold Washington. He insisted everyone dress up in costume to go drink. In one weird scene, the movie black boxes itself when a guy shows his dick, only that's at the end of the shot, so before then I thought the movie was bootlegging itself. Danny, meanwhile, is dressed as Indigo Montoya, the gay Blade.
Even though this isn't a religious movie, I can still add the creepy music to it. If raping and pillaging is their dream, I wish they'd wake the fuck up.
Now to reenact their favorite scene from Risky Business. Oh boy, it is getting steamy in here. Thank God the Trojan man is there to give him a condom. Danny is more upset that he was cock-blocked instead of witnessing his friend doing blow. Oh, 80s. Wait till he tells Saul.
On the lips? You kissed her on the lips. I knew it.
Also, Mickey's a cokehead. Boy, it's a good thing Danny is here to cheer him up.
Do you think there's really a heaven?
Say yes!
It gets more awkward from there.
We spent all that money getting to the moon. We should have spent it trying to get to heaven.
Yeah, ask the people of Babel how that worked out.
I'm not sure if Saul is dying or if he's turning into an egg. Meanwhile, in Bob Guccioni's mansion, no need to ask questions, we got hookers to pay off.
Thanks.
Thank you. You were wonderful.
This movie makes prostitution boring. Where's Pimp Joe Pantoliano to steal his shit?
It's that awkward moment when he sees Emily after making out with her and yet is required by law to give her a slug bug. Unfortunately, Emily is still getting married and may or may not be naked under that coat. Leave it to the 80s to pad their walls with water from Super Mario Brothers. But Danny has an offer for her.
I'm going to be in the park all afternoon. All the guys are all going to be there, the wives, kids, and everybody. I wish you'd come by.
Well, you just blew it, Danny. She's not gonna go because you and your friends are super lame.
He actually asks her to marry him. How does that go?
You should go.
So, is that a yes?
You know, if you punched her in the shoulder, she would have said yes. Here's how you know this is a bad Chicago movie. They're playing football and they have 0 superfans. Guys, this game just isn't the same without Saul here dressed as a cheerleader. Anyway, more football. Never mind, they just talk about Saul.
And I don't understand why I have to try to talk you guys into this.
Danny, please, we're in the middle of a goddamn football game.
So, everyone does hate Saul. Saul is in a hospital bed dying, and his friends don't even want to acknowledge his existence.
You think you'd have to ask... You think you'd have to ask Saul to do something for us? Huh? No way!
Who rounded up the customers, right? Who spent a week rounding up the customers? Not me, not Eddie, it was Saul.
When you were when you were gonna get fired from the station, right? You started the write-in campaign, right? 1,000 letters mailed from all over the city.
Danny, shut up!
You wanted to buy your first duplex, right? That's dump.
Yeah.
Right? You needed $5 grand to fix it up. Who gave you the money? Who gave you the money?
And this is how the Bears lost Super Bowl 41. Rex Grossman wouldn't stop talking about Saul. So is there a term for this kind of movie? Reminisce-sploitation? Sad 30-year-old men-sploitation?
You know, when we were growing up, I used to think we were forever.
Come off it, Danny. We were only friends because we spent a Saturday detention together. And then they lose, in the game, and in life, and in the box office. Even God hates Saul. That's why he's raining out their Salmonissing. When he comes back as Paul, it'll be a different story. Danny returns to give Emily that slug bug, but both Emily and the beetle are gone. Unfortunately, the bridge is the only thing standing between him and some nuts on Clark. But Danny gets in touch with his inner Jake and Elwood and tries going for a scene almost as insane as Diane Wiest blowing herself up. On the bright side, he lost Sam Gerard. Crap, he's too late. You know, you would have been there a lot sooner if you stayed in your car and waited for the bridge to lower.
How is this movie gonna make up the rest of its running time?
This is Bull Martin.
Why is Krusty the Clown's dad in this?
So, this is a ship captain. Now to get Saul to go along with this, they can take him out to sea and tell him how much they hate him to his face. This is just like that sailing scene from Cuckoo's Nest, only if there were no stakes. Come on, boys! Who else wants to join this sinking ship? $10 says they're only joining Saul on this trip so Danny doesn't blow another one of their football games. And for more yaying.
I got these pills for seasickness, shark repellent, a flare gun, and all the rest of this stuff from my attorney here. Who recommended I leave town for about 75 years.
Hooray! Don't yay the Action Man scuba diver going to prison, or that sitcom-y joke that just happened.
Sorry I'm late, boys. The Silver Streak just crashed into Union Station. It's a mess over there. Now they're off. Please crash, please crash, please crash, please crash. They don't crash, but they try to be somewhat meaningful.
Thanks.
This movie is as deep as a New York-style pizza.
I'm sure everything will work out fine. Just kidding, he's gonna die.
Saul died at sundown on the 9th day.
We then fired him out of a cannon. His body crashed into a White Castle, and they made chicken rings out of his remains. Again, Danny appears to be the only one who liked Saul.
Saul said it was the most fun he'd had since 1959, when we ran away from home to become astronauts.
Skippy burned up on re-entry. We don't talk much about Skippy anymore. Anyway, Saul is a dog now. As for the rest of the group...
I heard that Vern got married out of high school, had 4 kids, and is now the forklift operator at the Arsenault lumberyard. Teddy tried several times to get into the army, but his eyes and his ear kept him out. Last I'd heard, he'd spent some time in jail and was now doing odd jobs around Castle Rock. Chris did get out. He enrolled in the college courses with me. He was stabbed in the throat. He died almost instantly.
See, this is what happens when you confuse Stephen King with Stephen R. King.
I've never heard someone so disinterested in what became of our lovable characters.
As for Emily, well, she was married for a while, and she got divorced. She moved back to Chicago a few months ago, but we haven't talked to each other.
Holy shit, this takes place in Chicago?
Don't worry, he runs into Emily. She's dressed as a sidewalk chalk artist now, and just picked up Richard Roper's new book, but pretends it's Danny's book. As they walk, Danny thinks the gust of wind is Saul giving his approval, and it gives him an idea for his new book, A Saul's Purpose. And then they walk off, because after all, it's a long way to Delhi.
Okay, I had to do at least one more Temple of Doom reference.
You still believe in happy endings?
Absolutely.
his friends ever found out the location of a dead body when they were kids. They just stay home and watch the Bozo Show instead. Windy City is certainly a reminiscing film, and the product of a, hey, let's capitalize on the success of The Big Chill, because we're getting old. It was the directorial debut of Armyan Bernstein, whose only other feature as a director was the 1987 film Cross My Heart, but he also wrote films such as The Hurricane, Thank God It's Friday, and Francis Ford Coppola's One from the Heart. He was more prominent as a producer, having produced such films as Air Force One, Children of Men, and on television he produced Castle. Windy City was not a success, and has never officially been released on DVD, which is why you can get it in this extremely colorful bootleg. Even the disc says "fuck Saul." It blew a hole in his fucking head. As bleak as the cover looks, you should see the back when it's just the VHS blown up to DVD size. I'm glad I'm looking at Saul's last known photograph. Seriously, that's Saul's last scene in the film. Even the movie's trivia struggles to find something to talk about. The movie's title, Windy City, is a nickname of the capital city of Chicago. As a resident of Springfield, Illinois, that trivia about the capital city of Chicago really intrigues me. I hope this review of Windy City was everything that you begrudgingly feared it would be, for all two of you who are still watching this episode. Luckily, though, we have another forgettable 80s melodrama to take its place in the Patreon polls, which is why next week you can choose between the porno film Pirates or the 1984 Karen Allen romance film Until September. I'm just kidding. We'll do Pirates next week. It'll make sense for that movie to have pirates in it.
I don't want any soup.
For behind-the-scenes photos, updates on videos, and more, follow us today on our Instagram channel at the Cinema Snob.
Will you stay with me?
Until when?
Until September.
What? Yes, in the tradition of Windy City and Independence Day 83, it's finally happened. The forgotten melodrama won on our Patreon poll by a fairly decent amount, too. It wasn't even a tight race last week. It stayed in the lead the entire time. But the best part of the melodrama winning will always be the comments of, huh? What the hell? The damn melodrama's winning? Time for another Windy City. Oh, if only this were another Windy City. Do you think this is gonna be just some hard drama that'll immediately escape from your head? Oh no, having just seen the movie, that poll last week was not 3 horror movies and a drama. No, it was 4 horror movies because this film is the most terrifying one out of the bunch. Until September is a romantic drama from 1984 starring Karen Allen as Mo, an American tourist who misses her flight and is stuck in Paris. So the obvious thing happens whenever you're stuck in Paris. A romance blooms between her and a married man with a family named Xavier, played by Thierry Lhermitte in his first English-speaking role. What a relatable plot. Every movie should be about poverty. As the poster says, they were having so much fun in Paris, if only they could keep from falling in love. Oh yeah, this is love alright, they're both completely shit-faced. What the poster should really advertise is that it's from the director of Return of the Jedi. Seriously. Richard Marquand directed the film from a script by best-selling novelist Janice Lee Graham. But my favorite piece of trivia about the movie, one that is a huge coincidence, I randomly picked this movie as a throwaway melodrama choice, and yet the movie was released on the exact same day in 1984 as Windy City. Even other hard dramas showed their face that weekend to relish in their disgust of Saul. But oh boy, am I glad this movie was picked. Ooh man, just wait for this horror of a romance that you're about to see. Needless to say, I got a lot of material out of this. I mean, just look at this exciting opening. Okay, well, I guess maybe not everything is exciting. I was expecting more from the opening, considering how some of the publicity photos look like an alternate universe James Bond film. Must be why John Barry does the musical score. Mo is on her way to catch a flight out of Paris, but unfortunately, it's September-only flights with her annoying friend.
Hey, take a whiff of this. That's nice.
I stuck it in one of the toilets. Even the piss water smells like champagne. The last drama I did starred Willie Scott. This one has Marion Ravenwood. Maybe the next one should have Elsa. Unfortunately, she misses her flight. She shouldn't have used her last magic ball from Starman on a free latte. Then we meet Xavier and his wife, and they both seem... well... the chemistry between him and anyone else just gets worse. It's good she missed her flight because it looks like it can't even take off and is just gonna drive down the highway. Mo is stuck there until Friday. Excuse me, it's called Until September, not Until Friday. Jeez, all this rain. It's like watching something out of the Oh Heavenly Dog universe. Mo and Xavier don't really have a meet cute, more of a meet creepy.
Vous cherchez quelque chose?
You're Hannibal Lecter, aren't you? Mo wants to stay in the apartment that one of her school friends lives in, and this is the same building Xavier lives in.
Thank God you speak English.
But she's on vacation. She'll be back in September.
I believe you mean she won't be back until September! He could give her directions to a hotel, but it's much more fun to watch her ask in the rain.
Are there any hotels around here?
Yes, there's one at the end of the street.
You could have told me this inside where it was dry. Mo is mainly here just to try out her anti-France stand-up routine.
I don't understand the French. They're rude, arrogant, totally unhelpful. They act as if the inability to speak French is a kind of disease.
And that's when he leads her to a dumpster and tells her it's the hotel. Well, here you go. It was only about 100 feet from you. You should have noticed it. Anyway, enough of my complaining about the French. Let's flirt randomly.
You have the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen.
Yeah, sure. Those are the eyes Dr. Loomis and Quint warned us about in 2 separate movies. Mo's got family back in Missouri. You can tell it's Missouri because of the St. Louis Cardinals shirt. Otherwise, I wouldn't have believed you. I see this being important.
Hemos is bringing in 20 new seedlings, and I promised that...
You did tell me you wrote it down.
I did?
Yes!
See? Hot. I like that her sister isn't sure if the conversation is over.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye.
Ah, never mind cutting back. Let's keep going in Missouri.
Where is she?
Paris.
Where's that?
Well, it's where they make rabbit stew, like what we're gonna do with Harvey tonight.
Your pet rabbit's dead, kid. But good news, she's allowed to stay at her friend's place. But bad news, she has to go on a dinner with Xavier.
By the way, you have the most beautiful blanket I've ever seen in my life.
Perhaps we should both be naked under it. The date starts out well. She wants to go to a fancy restaurant, and he insults her.
The point is, I don't think we are dressed properly.
What do you mean? You're wearing a suit and... Oh, you mean I'm not dressed properly?
No, it's okay. I'm sure they'll let us eat in the janitor's closet. Let me follow you in the subway and insult you some more.
You're very rude, you know. I invited you to dinner, and you behave like a child just because you don't...
Now let me cheat on my wife with you. Being creepy makes me even more charming.
I've had a pretty rotten day. Have a heart.
You're very pretty when you're angry.
I gotta be choosy with the creepy music. It could really go anywhere in this film. I see you found the picture of my family. Will you sleep with me? Even the movie wants to skip their conversation and go right to her passed out on the couch. Now I can make lo mein out of her intestines. It's at this point I was wondering if I'd find this movie creepier had I not watched Old Fashioned first. I mean, creepy people will just show up randomly in this film. Who is that?
Man, you could be stuck in a worse place in Paris.
Thanks, obvious sex trafficker. At least he's not changing his dialect because he's in another country.
Hello? Ah, Chantal. Hi.
That's not how you would normally say that. It's like someone who goes into a coffee shop and says, yeah, I'll take a coffee, a bagel, a tea, and a croissant. What are you, some kind of cinema snob? Time for another date, this time at James Coco's, where every waiter is James Coco.
Now, taste this one. It's a much more complex wine.
If I want to see someone drink a lot of wine and cheat, I'll watch Sideways, thank you very much. Now go back to insulting her. This is unsurprising. He parks in a dark alley and kisses her while she sleeps. And it's here that I thought, yeah, even having seen Old Fashioned, this is still creepy. It gets worse. She tells him no, so it gets more terrifying.
You're not attracted to me?
How do I open this thing?
This movie is not a thriller. It's a romance. Not enough is written about France's Ted Bundy. Come on, we had dinner. Why won't you put out?
You mean if I wasn't going to go to bed with you, I shouldn't have accepted the invitation?
That's right.
Well, I guess he's honest. Oh, man, there's still 70 minutes of this movie left. Well, other than the almost date rape, this was a great night.
Thank you. And thank you for a beautiful evening I'll never forget.
Yeah, I wouldn't forget being locked in a car by a handsome stranger either. Oh, good, we get to see his work. Money Penny, hold my calls. Businessy business, business, French business, Paris business.
Why the delay?
Mr. Mauriac is trying to convince the Saudis to cover the loan for $500 million.
I bet this is important. As important as Mo suddenly playing baseball with the guy she exchanged 2 lines with, and they're huggers now. And he's trying to convince her that she really needs to go see Saul before he dies. Xavier says that his wife left him, but I don't know if that's true or not. He just seems horny.
Do you want to have dinner with me tonight?
Sorry, old boy. Well, look, I just need to bang something. His co-worker is a no-go. He's still reeling from Steve Guttenberg ruining his wedding in 3 Men and a Little Lady. She decides to go see country boy Andrew's show and gives Xavier a 3rd wheel ticket. That way he can be creepy in a tux. She looks as thrilled to see him as the creepy music is. I hope you all liked my piece. It's called Why Is There a Love Triangle in This? I need to point out that in the next scene where he follows her to a dance club, I did not add the song that they picked here. Is this movie becoming self-aware? Every breath you take is incredibly appropriate, but I don't know if it's for the reason the movie thinks it is. I'll just watch her dance with another guy and then leave. That's normal. She prefers it when I'm creepy. I'll just stand by my door and drunkenly wait for her to return. See, these moves are totally working. It causes them to, power hug.
Why are you so difficult?
This is as hot as a drunken prom night. Damn it, just have sex with me, for the love of God!
Not a woman, you're a little girl. You play games with men.
And then they, unfortunately, bang. And there's a surprising amount of nudity in this film, but I'm distracted by them discussing things like bodily smells and whether he has a mistress.
What's she like?
She's 89 years old with a wooden leg and warts in her ass.
The reason they're in such a good mood after sex is mainly because their movie is at least better than Moment by Moment and Endless Love. Sure, they could stay together for months, but don't they have jobs? Here, I'll give you a present in my own dickish way.
That's For you. Okay. Actually, I bought it for someone else, but I'd rather give it to you.
Smooth. Patrick Bateman's more genuine when he talks about Phil Collins. He needs to relieve his stress by strangling a hooker while Mo disposes of a severed arm she found behind the sink. Might as well leave. To the airport, Keith Hernandez! Get me to the nearest set of The Sandlot! While they both decided it was best for him to go to work and her to return to the States, the movie's only halfway over, so of course they both return to the apartment. Don't you have jobs? She's acting like being with Xavier is completely bumming her out. Understandable. I wonder how long she'll stay for.
Until when?
Until September.
Wrong. The correct answer is Sweet November. I'm not sure if they can last together that long without driving each other crazy. September suddenly feels like a really long ways away. Now she can seduce him with wonderful stories about Missouri.
It is so beautiful. It's just cornfields and wheat fields that spread out as far as the eye can see.
I guarantee you he will not like the Midwest. He doesn't even like it when she cooks for him.
Well, it's not French at all.
It's not?
No.
Charming as a neutered Pepe Le Pew. Wait, she likes it when I insult her.
You sure have a very funny way of eating.
Maybe you should both just have sex and not say anything to each other at all. He seems embarrassed to be around her in front of the others in the building, or he just wants to hide the affair he's having, or he's worried Twist of Fate by Olivia Newton-John was gonna start playing. Too many people have seen us. Let's drive out to the middle of the woods and take care of the situation.
Are you alright?
Enough with the sexy talk! A nice weekend getaway would do the trick. He had to pack an extra bag for his epic comb-over. And what the hell happened to country boy Andrew? And is her friend from the beginning wondering where she's at? And what was with this scene with the sister? Why are any of them in this movie to begin with? Xavier's wife should be in the movie more. They mostly just talk about her awkwardly, like when Mo asks if he still loves her.
Drop it. You don't understand. It's none of your business.
It kinda is her business. But hey, Mo was once married, so this is only fair.
Were you always in love with your husband?
Yes. Very much so.
Then why did you divorce him?
Yeah, the difference is at least she's divorced, charming lad.
Perhaps I don't love my wife. But I need her, and it was in both our interests to get married and to stay married.
You know, maybe I'll just walk back to Missouri. He tells her that everything's okay because at least he doesn't tell his wife that he's cheating on her. So did his wife leave him or not? I'm guessing no. What a strong case he makes.
You are one of my mistresses. You know it. And you knew I was married when you met me. You reason like a child. Grow up.
Sometimes faking a reaction to a bad movie just doesn't cut it. You gotta see a genuine reaction mere seconds after this shit happens. Christ. It's okay, baby, we're good now. Ugh, I'm leaving September of this year, right? Because if it's next year, I'm gonna jump off the Eiffel Tower. So, I think they broke up. I don't know, he just leaves her there stranded. It's great having a third act breakup for a relationship that shouldn't exist anyway. That son of a bitch left me here with his work friends and their kids. God damn, I hope one of them hurts themselves.
Bob fell in the water.
Oh my God.
I guess she had one wish remaining from the Starman. I can't think of anything that I care less about than this drama.
Colonel Viola has assured me that the national deficit will be substantially less than what we expected.
Well, okay, I guess you got me there, movie. This whole movie is just an origin for a sleepaway camp remake, isn't it? I hear if this movie goes to Netflix, they're gonna digitally replace the cigarettes with Kit Kat bars. Good, the kid's okay. Guess we should bang to celebrate. What is even happening in this movie? They clearly do not like each other! Oh, but they were having so much fun in Paris. Even after sleeping together, they look like they instantly regret everything they just did. It's far too soon to be redoing classic scenes from moment by moment. They kinda talk, though.
How long have we known each other?
Almost 3 weeks.
Really? Felt more like 3 decades. I'm way off. Oh, right, I'm the sister. I forgot I was in this movie. Better answer the phone.
Hi, Jenny. No, don't you worry about Harvey. He'll be fine.
That's what Mommy said, but who's gonna take care of him?
Your mom killed your rabbit, kid! Even Xavier's wife comes back, but do you know who doesn't? Andrew. He is never seen in the movie again. Why was he here to begin with? And let's not forget the serious drama with replacing her niece's rabbit.
Jenny's rabbit ran away. She was real upset.
Oh, too bad.
This time I'm actually with him. I can't pretend to care about these subplots either. And a rabbit being in a movie like this makes me think it's gonna go into Fatal Attraction territory. It's then that Mo goes to get a rabbit from Larry Fine. Okay, appropriate. Is the rest of the movie just gonna be montage pondering, my God, something else happened? Oh, thank you. Wait, what? Why does this movie have an action scene? I guess she's leaving for New York the next day. Okay, I guess she's not stuck in Paris anymore. It seems like she can leave any time now. Plus, he has his wife.
Did you, make love to her?
Couldn't.
But the point is, I tried. Now they make love and have a deep discussion about whether they really have to wait till September. No, stop. Don't leave.
I'm trying to tell you, I'm in love with you.
No, you're not. Good, they're happy again. I give it 15 minutes before they go back to being miserable. Oh shit, his wife is home. I was wrong. It was 30 seconds before they're both miserable again. Now I have to brace myself for the 4th act breakup. There's no actual dialogue here. It's just his wife reaching out to him, and the two of them exchanging awkward looks before he, of course, has to race to meet Mo at the airport. Because of course that's what happens. Although running over a bunch of nuns was a nice touch. Someone stop him. Airport security is supposed to stop doomed romances. I want to see them end up together about as much as I want to see them sloppily kiss. No! Ugh. It's no wonder they didn't show the actual month of September. This couple isn't gonna make it 2 hours, let alone until September. This film is not one of those movies that was passable in the 80s but aged poorly. Oh no, as you can see, the movie wasn't received well at all. Dear Heavenly Father, what in the holy hell did they do to their eyes? Anyway, for all the unintentionally creepy things that happen all throughout the film, this was all also pointed out at the time of release, such as Roger Ebert's half-star review, which opens with, "I knew we were in trouble when she told him he had the most beautiful eyes she'd ever seen. His eyes looked more to me like the kind of eyes where when you turned up looking like that, the nuns sent you to see the school nurse." Oh, damn, harsh. But it's true, this movie is hilariously awkward. It's like watching a cross between 50 Shades of Grey and French Kiss. The movie isn't a poorly made film. It has a look that's a notch above some of the other dramas I've done on here. And they do a good job with the editing of some sequences, despite the creepy undertones. Karen Allen is adorable and likable as always, but she's stuck in a romance that's like if she ended up with Frank Cross even if he didn't get Scrooged. Ooh, am I glad I watched this movie. These kinds of movies are like digging up a lost time capsule from a forgotten era, and you have no idea what in the hell you're gonna find inside of it.
Oh, shit. Ugh. Hey, Mo!
Looking for a great Twitch channel to subscribe to? Then check out Double Toasted at twitch.com/doubletoasted for hilarious reviews and commentary on movies, current events, video games, and so much more. Help the crew get to their goal of 2,500 subscribers by May, and they'll watch Corey Coleman's masterpiece Space Jam. And as a stretch goal, get to 5,000 subscribers for a 12-hour live stream. Subscribe today at twitch.com/doubletoasted. Well, it appears dreams do come true for everyone who voted in this week's episode poll, wanting me to review the 1979 forgotten melodrama Dreamer. See? A whopping 38%. Yeah, everyone was dying to see me talk about this movie. Bask in the sentiment of, oh god, it's winning. Although there was a little bit of strategy on display in the voting here. Such as, I ain't voting for a horror movie in January. Having seen The Grudge, Underwater, and The Turning, I agree. Now this person knows how to protest vote. I voted for The Omen, not because I wanted to win, but because I don't want Dreamer to win. So good on him for voting for the movie that was coming in second. But the dream was still alive in the voting city as the prayers of "Please Dreamer, we believe in you" were answered. But not for the one asking, am I the only one who wants prom night? No, 20% wanted prom night, more than the 11% who wanted The Brood. No one wanted me to watch that, I guess. I would say congratulations to the winners who voted for Dreamer, but we are not winners here. No one wins with the movie Dreamer. We are all losers. If you're expecting me to unearth the magic of Diane Wiest blowing herself up, or Karen Allen seduced by a French stalker, well, keep those dreams alive because, oh my god, I hate myself for unearthing this movie. The poster suggests a far better movie, probably because it looks like Dennis and Dee Reynolds decided to make an incestuous bowling movie on It's Always Sunny. Why read the tagline when the trailer can just tell you?
A man dreams of winning. A woman dreams of loving. A dreamer dreams of both. Dreamer, rated PG.
Haha, congratulations, Mom and Dad! It's a Dreamer! I'm not far off because Tim Matheson's name in the movie is actually Dreamer. The movie Dreamer is the result of post-Rocky inspirational dreamsploitation knockoffs, right down to actually getting Bill Conti to do the soundtrack for this one too. It's the story of Dreamer, a dreamer who dreams of bowling. That's it. I just told you the whole damn movie! The film was directed by Noel Nosek, who would later direct one of the Twister knockoffs, Tornado. It was also the only writing credit for co-writer James Proctor, but the other writer, Larry Bischoff, had a hand in Denver the Last Dinosaur, and exploitation fans may recognize his 1972 crazed Vietnam vet hitchhiker stalks hippie girls movie Hot Summer Week, aka Girls on the Road. I'll take my chances with the highway serial killer. Anything is more exciting than Dreamer! The movie opens like I'm watching a prototype of Cheers set in a bowling alley. Where everybody knows your name. Witness the history of getting shit-faced drunk and knocking over things with bowling balls. Yes, here's a group that definitely looks like they want to be lugging around heavy balls. Wait, this is where Pablo Cruz's Reach for the Top comes from? Haha, I don't know what that is. But let's remember the first brave man who realized you could just walk up to the pins and kick them over. What, no shots of the kids in the arcade playing the Terminator 2 pinball machine? Guess we're in the movie now. He's been stuck in there for weeks. I can tell this is gonna be really exciting. I could be watching The Brood! What a thrilling looking bowling alley. I'm yearning for someone to get their dick stuck in a bowling ball like in Screwballs. In case you didn't know this was the 50s. Okay, when is Pennywise gonna show up as a talking bowling pin and stick his head in a ball shiner? Might as well try out this bowling thing. Wow, that was a magic ball. He jumped ahead 20 years and now he's Tim Matheson. Witness the thrills of skin-peeling, ointment-applying action. Wait, did Dreamer win? Is the movie over? The theme song even starts playing. Okay, I joke, but this genuinely feels like we should be cutting to the ending credits. This is like if Rocky 1 opened with the end of Rocky 2. The theme is still playing. This song did not reach the top. The film takes place in Alton, Illinois, and having been born and raised 90 minutes away in Springfield, I can vouch for the fact that Alton pretty much looks the same today. Everyone wants a piece of that Dreamer.
I reckon I can have that there potato. You go on television, that there potato. You wear something.
Or you could ask him for an autograph. That'd be worth a lot more than that potato that you have no proof that he once owned.
This was years before Alton actually had people living in it. Something about not wanting to live in a town where they used severed heads to sell cars. You never know who's gonna be sleeping in them.
Dreamer, I told you, till you can get the money, you can't have the car.
I will never get used to the fact that his name is Dreamer.
Dreamer goes to show his mentor Harry, played by the great Jack Warden, his new trophy.
Hey!
Harry, you okay? Why didn't you answer the door?
I did answer the door. Don't you see me standing here?
You were rubbing your dick with a cheese grater again. We both know this.
Now all that's left is for Dreamer to win the big championship in Chicago.
You can't bowl in Chicago until I let you to PBA.
Well, I gotta let me in after winning this one. You said so yourself.
Sorry, Harry. I'm more interested in this milk carton than I am in this conversation. Dreamer still works at the Bullhaven. He gets all the free Busch beer at 10 in the morning that he wants. As you can see, their lives are just pointless unless Dreamer wins the tournament. They're on their third breakfast ribeye of the day.
Said he got him a car. What kind? Why don't you get some new batteries for that thing? They cost too damn much.
These two feel like the embodiment of the old guy joke I always make.
What'd he say? Says he likes Alton.
No one's ever said that.
I think he's frustrated Pennywise still hasn't shown up yet. So here's hoping maybe ghostly greaser Robert Russler will shake things up. Makes sense. Tim Matheson was actually in that one. Oh, and he's got a girlfriend, Karen Lee, played by Susan Blakely. She knows a thing or two about dreamers. She saw Lincoln Hawk achieve his arm wrestling dream and over the top. Maybe you would get more work done if you didn't always have that trophy on your chest. He hates having her around.
The time I took you, I bowled 146 and finished out of the money right in the hole. That's right.
Oh, we had fun, remember?
Oh, you had fun. I didn't like losing.
What I'm trying to tell you is that you're worse luck than bowling under a ladder after smashing a mirror with an open umbrella. Guess we'll just build our own scary clowns, damn it. It's for the kids.
Yeah, well, the kids like them, all right? Helps them get rid of the hostility they feel towards their parents for dumping them in that closet you call a playroom.
It was important back then that we got our frustrations of shitty parenting out by punching a clown.
Oh, have you seen Dreamer's trophy? He totally won a trophy.
Well, that trophy's going up his ass.
Sorry, Harry. I've cleaned this 20 times and it still stinks.
And that was that scene.
The next scene doesn't contribute much either.
That's definitely some time filler, much like actual bowling.
Sure, we could be spending time with Dreamer and his girlfriend's grandmother.
But never mind that, more montages that cut to nobody.
This just keeps on going. What do you mean this movie's only 80 minutes if you take out the credits? Richard Schull actually looks surprised when something happens. There appears to be a pin jam. Good thing there's the maintenance workers, named 1 and 2. I'm not joking.
1? No, amigo. This is 2. I get 1.
This movie names its characters like a drunk guy trying to recall his prom date. That's when freaking Titsy McGee dumped me. The workers are played by Speedy Zapata and Pedro Gonzalez. Well, that sets me up for one hell of a spare for a joke. Must be why they're trying to figure out a way to blame this on Sylvester the Cat. And there's our hero asleep. Why bother waking him up? Nothing's happened so far. There's something about this movie that makes me surprised it took this long for a giant van to turn up. And have they just given up on bowling?
10 ball.
Oh, hey, that's a bad shot, guy. Man, no way you gonna slip by that 8.
If I wanted to watch someone shoot pool, I'd watch The Hustler. In fact, I wish I was watching The Hustler. Too bad I'm stuck with Dreamer. Am I in another movie now?
You wanna get nasty, going over there and pump beer? It's 5-0.
Okay, 5.
I don't know who either of you are! Dreamer and Harry are looking around for a bowling alley to buy for themselves, so they can make their own bowling movie, I guess.
I'll win the title and we'll buy the sucker. Do it, Harry. You just dream about something, that's all it's ever gonna be. Just a dream.
I suppose we should see our dream through, Dreamer. Thank you for making my dream come true by dreaming my dream of dreaming. You know what song I love? Dream a Little Dream of Me by Mama Cass. Not to be confused with the Corey's movie, Dream a Little Dream, and its sequel, Dream a Little Dream 2. This movie manages to make training montages seem lame.
We could try to throw the ball too straight. It's not your game. Circle it. Keep that wrist firm. Follow through with the ball. You're cutting the ball.
Oh my god, I dream for more thrilling scenes like Dreamer taking a nap. This goes on so long, and every piece of advice is just as riveting as the last. Oh right, his girlfriend.
Well, I'm glad you won the tournament.
No, you're not.
I'm sort of glad.
I'm sorta watching this movie. She's worried he's gonna be a big star and forget all about her. Right? He's gonna win that bowling championship, and then he'll be knee-deep in babes and blow. The biggest set piece of the movie so far is him leaping out of bed and pretending to be asleep on the couch so her grandmother doesn't catch them in bed together on her houseboat. Sadly, though, he's been rejected by the Pro Bowlers Association, and they also rejected him to be the newest member of the Osmonds. How can this be?
What, do you think it's something special?
Yeah.
I mean, his name is Dreamer. So he's off to challenge this non-membership in the mean streets of St. Louis.
I remember time when things didn't look so bright.
Beautiful overcast weather. Now let's watch them clean Busch Stadium for 12 hours.
Nobody here.
Thank God, the rapture. This place is as empty as Alton. Do other people exist in this universe? But we unfortunately find out his real name.
What do you want? No, I'm Harold Nuttingham. I'm here to talk to the board.
Harold Nuttingham? Okay, I now know why you're called Dreamer. That sounds like a porn parody of a Stephen King name. Go get him, Dreamer.
Nuttingham, you can't just barge in here like that.
You watch me.
By the way, we're in St. Louis. Just in case you can't remember we're in St. Louis, I assure you we're in St. Louis. He's gonna rub his wins right in their face.
What are you averaging now?
221.
For how long?
Over a year. I won that Springfield tournament.
I don't remember that! But alas, they voted him into the association, and all he had to do was just order them 12 Emo's pizzas. Everyone in the bowling alley is in a good mood because of this.
I think it's about time you and the old spider got together, don't you think?
Especially Rape Van Winkle. He's always in a good mood. This is Spider, who says smooth lines, usually involving a web. Kidnap vibes.
Okay, Romeo, leave the lady alone.
I'm telling you, Captain, I think you're a little sore since I waxed your tugboat over here at the pool table.
I'm sorry, did you two bang? I don't know what I'd rather talk about more. 1 and 2 passing notes to customers via bowling balls, or Dreamer and Karen placing an order at the bar.
6 buds, an Old Taylor, double tequila, Old Granddad Neat, and an OJ.
This is the lamest goddamn movie I've ever watched for this show. Spider is just dying to be put on the sex offender registry. Does he even bowl? Clearly, this is her fault.
You know there's some slut in there shooting pool with Spider? If he beats her, she says she'll lay him.
Thus, another night of Spider going home alone and humping an ant farm. Karen actually wants to be included in their trip to Peoria. What a bitch.
This is why I don't want you to come with me before I bowl, because you always wait until right before something important to start a fight.
Oh, right, I planned that.
Chicks, bro. Just leave me and my old man friend alone with our balls, please. I'm halfway into this movie. Is it too soon to mark it down as a turkey? Now that we're back, I feel like I should fill you in on what you missed. And what you missed is chicks, bro!
Women, I mean, sometimes they don't understand anything.
Well, I, for one, don't understand why there's a giant Hostess cupcake on the wall. Behold my new invention, Dreamer. I've shrunken the earth. This is way more important than Karen. Use this as your new ball. Karen is so pissed off at Dreamer, she wants to kick him out of her grandma's houseboat.
Karen Lee? Grandma, I don't want to talk about it, please. Just go back to bed.
Yeah, I bet this fight is gonna be bloodier than the bowling alley climax in Alien 2 on Earth. Or maybe it will be, because of course Spider just randomly barges in.
That's what the spider was born for, to help a lady in distress.
Damn it, just get it out of here, Delbert.
And stop sexually assaulting me. This guy seems to be a holdover from the writer's hippie serial killer movie. Dreamer really stepped in at this time with his shitty priorities.
But I'm not going to compete with Bowling and Harry. Who do you think you are, anyway? Treating me like I'm second. I'm not second to anybody or anything.
Honey, please, you're third next to Bowling and Harry. Harry will always be number one. Not only does he leave, but he takes the vacuum cleaners and the rapist with him. And it's asking him to move his car that makes things escalate quickly.
All right.
Perfectly reasonable reaction to that. Good news, Harry. We can finally be the lovers we were destined to be. He's either off to Peoria for that tournament, or the movie's turned into a 70s car commercial. Lamest Super Bowl ad ever! Oh no, perhaps you shouldn't have crashed it into that other car. Come to think of it, that was really stupid of you. This feels like if you slightly pan over, I'm gonna see Bat Pussy hopping along the highway. He's hitchhiking to the tournament, so I'll just let the narration speak, because God forbid actually showing the truck driver.
Mayday, Mayday, this is the Black Old Kid. Got a gutter baller fogging it to Chi-Town, looking for a relay at Whitliff's Eat 'em Up.
Can't wait for the exciting conclusion of Hokey and the Bandit. Witness the amazing going from one semi-truck to the other action. I sure hope he makes it in time.
Last call, Harold Dreamer Nottingham.
Right here. Right here.
I will never get used to that being his real name.
You'd better get your ball checked and weighed.
My ears do perk up a little because I hear a familiar location. I've never heard of that person! Sure, this tournament is one thing, but I wonder what's going on at the Bowl Haven. Nothing. Nothing is going on at the Bowl Haven! And when the hell is Bill Murray's hair gonna get all crazy? Maybe I would rather be at the Bowl Haven. At least we get some passion here.
Look, you're the one who threw him out, remember? So don't talk to me about love. He can be great, really great. So just let him alone.
He's mine. You stay away from him. He lives with me now. Sure, we could be at the big game, but endless shots of Harry bowling alone? Sign me up for this competition. I'm assuming he's bowling well. It never actually cuts to the pins. Notice how the music picks up when we go back to the tournament. And then it dies down when we leave the tournament. No wonder why Harry is trying to bowl himself to death. By the way, I'm being serious. He is bowling himself to death, and his heart just split.
Just stay with Harry. We don't need to cut to things like Dreamer winning the tournament, largely because this scene was already spoiled for us in the trailer. Must be why no one is acting surprised.
Hey, a one! Isn't this a beaut? Look at this. Hey, one!
No one cares anymore, Dreamer.
Where's Harry? He's in the hospital.
Oh, and Harry's heart is in the gutter. We did what we could for Harry. We even replaced his heart with a dirty rag used to clean out the finger holes. There's just enough time to say goodbye to Harry. Hey, Harry, I'd like to see the manager stick this one up his ass. Well, they're at a cemetery now, so I guess that means Harry is dead. And now Karen makes Dreamer feel bad for not also going to see Saul while he was in the hospital. Because fuck Saul and double fuck Harry. Take down all his pictures. We want no memories of Harry here. Throw these old headshots in the fire too while you're at it. But it's when he gets Harry's magic dream ball that Dreamer realizes he should go bowling.
Boy, Dreamer sure looks great today, doesn't he?
Sure does.
And what a sweet ass. Oh, thanks for taking me back. Sorry for the whole car thing. Now we're off to the Grand Championship. Guess that's not what this was. He's got to make a quick stop to the Alton Parade, though, to ruin that shit. I'm just glad Spider settled down. He's down to only 4 assaults a week. Now the Jesus is the biggest pederast in the alley. I know the music here is telling me that I should be thrilled. But I still don't see Bill Murray in his crazy bowling hair. Ah, good. The running commentary should pick things up.
He's trying to bring a new dimension to the sport, and I think he probably will. They'll remember his style, and they'll remember that white satin shirt.
No, they won't. This movie needs to grow up.
It looks like a good stroke.
Hardly. After 100 porno spoofs, I know a good stroke when I see it. This movie has so little faith in its climax that it has to cut to a random scene with the cops.
The car registered in his name is blocking a navigable waterway.
You want him? There he is. It's Dreamer. He's on TV.
That was necessary. Ooh, nail-biting action.
The anxiety of the situation has caused him some big trouble, but he can still make this.
Oh yeah, I'm having such anxiety right now. I haven't been this anxious since I woke up to get a drink of water and then went back to bed. This is like watching home movies of someone's bowling league, or the B-roll footage on a local news program about new shoes at the bowling alley. This doesn't even look like it should be the movie. It looks like it should be the auditions for the movie. Don't worry, they try to add stakes.
That 10 pin's off its spot. Could I have a re-rack? Let me check.
And Dreamer really looks upset. That'll make the shot more difficult.
Oh my god, that's crazy. Well, this will make the strike hard. If you're wondering if he wins... He does. And I still feel like I lost. Now go celebrate by having sex on a plane. Please, I beg of you. This soundtrack can be yours if you need a last-minute gift idea for your uncle that you see twice a year. They then dedicate the bowling alley in Harry's memory, but they spent all the extra money to add the ending credits to the sign as well. So that means it's over. Oh my god! Not only was this movie lame, it's not even the lame plot from the description. Professional bowler tries to win a tournament against a grizzled veteran bowler. That's not what happens at all. Oh, he goes up against this non-character a couple of times, but then at the end he just competes against real professional bowler Dick Weber. Stop making up shit! Although I kind of understand why they would make that up. How do you sell this movie, which doesn't even have a villain, and it has side characters which either just show up out of nowhere, or in some cases, leave out of nowhere? This is like watching Kingpin if it were directed by a veteran of Campbell's soup commercials and Woody Harrelson never had his hand severed. It's
It's like if an episode of Ed was made by the people who made the movie Ed. Go figure, this movie didn't do very well and pretty much disappeared from everyone's mind as soon as it arrived. Siskel and Ebert hated it, with Siskel saying it was too lame even for his bottom 10 list. Janet Maslin probably put it best when she said, "I'm not sure if I've ever seen a movie that was supposed to tell a story and managed to be as uneventful as Dreamer." Good lord, does the next sacrificial pole melodrama have a lot of lameness to live up to. I'm looking right at you, Soup for one. If it weren't enough that I'm eating soup alone, how did I end up on this bed in the middle of the water? Huh, talk about sleepwalking. My life is crazy. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go kick a bowling ball because at least when it shatters my foot, I'll actually feel something.
Hey, Lane baby. How you doing?
Ooh, it's a celebratory moment. The forgotten 80s film won the Patreon poll, hence why we have the Windy City poster framed. As you can see, the clear winner with 46% of the vote is the 1982 film Soup for One, and it's very obvious why. It's winter, it's cold outside, it is definitely soup weather. As many claimed, I'll have the soup, thank you very much. But there were still some supporters for the other choices, like this comment that says, "I'm still rooting for The Exorcist, come on little buddy, you can do it." It didn't do it. It still fared better than The Prowler. After Dirty O'Neill, I guess people had had enough of Prowlers. Also, I think this guy's all souped out for the winter. He's moved on to macaroni and cheese now. At some point, this movie had to win because, like Windy City, it's got a Saul in it. As in, the film stars Saul Rubinek. Here's what we've learned so far over the years. Saul Rubinek is always great, and Garrett Graham is always great. Put them both in the same movie, and who knows if it'll be good, but I'm gonna watch it. The plot of the film is your typical Woody Allen exploitation of the time. It's about a single guy who works in the entertainment industry and is looking for love in New York City. Hell, his name in the movie is Allen. Although he is playing an editor, so it's a little Albert Brooks exploitation too. But what really sold me on making this a choice was the poster. When you're looking for love, you'll find yourself doing some very funny things. Yes, like crash landing little Nemo's bed in the water and rowing to safety. Even the VHS cover is odd. Ugh, why do these strippers have to ruin this perfectly good bowl of soup? I'm trying to eat my lunch. Also, this is mine. You can't rent it or buy it. Wait, did he ditch the bed for a boat? He must have fallen overboard from the other Saul's pirate ship. I better get to this classic. My soup is getting cold. Hopefully, it's the Vichyssoise of movies. This is a very easy movie for me to riff. Look, it opens with its own educational short film.
A team of Canadian scientists investigating the biological implications of single living.
I think this movie might get silly. I wasn't sure how this movie would open, but I certainly wasn't expecting disco dancing rats. Oops, I think you may have used cocaine in your soup and not salt. Truly, these scientists are making the future better.
The lab was forced to shut down and was eventually converted into a homosexual bathhouse.
See, the movie is The Ritz now. Okay, joking aside, what is happening? Oh, now I get it. They gave Garrett Graham some money for a news report, so naturally this is what we got. Ta-da! And once again, Garrett Graham is about to steal a movie. Poor Alan is getting married in 5 hours, which obviously means he's super depressed, but not his friend Brian. See, he is definitely gonna be disco dancing with some rats. Now this I certainly expected, a mopey person over a sad title screen.
After some supporting roles in Death Ship, Ticket to Heaven, and By Design, this was a very early lead role for Saul Rubinek, and while the movie came and went in theaters, it did get high marks for its very disco-y soundtrack by Nile Rodgers and Bernard Edwards of Chic. The film was written and directed by the late Jonathan Kaufer, who would do a little bit of writing for the series Dream On, and you can tell.
And I spent the past 3 months begging her to be my bride. Problem is, she finally said yes. You think she's trying to smother me?
This movie better not get neurotic. Never mind Chic, this is shot like a Bernard Herrmann score could be played over it. I've always said that when you leave out the hyper-stylized products of certain decades, movies like this and Windy City are the real time capsules of the time. Back when lounge singers only had one job. I dream, yeah. Teddy Pendergrass is here to make sure everyone in the club gets laid. Most of the movie is a flashback to how he met his true love, and his single life is typical Woody Allen style gags, like how he says he's so bored of the single scene that every woman he talks to looks the same, while everyone he's talking to has the same wig, and one of them even turns into him. But hey, that still works out for him. The music of Teddy Pendergrass wins again. I think all of this is being told in a therapy session, which will probably turn out to be a gag later. Hey, might as well though. This is the kind of movie that feels like it was scripted in therapy. And while watching a boatload of Kentucky Fried Movie knockoffs, because that's what TV host Brian's set looks like. Gotta admit, I would watch this show.
I should be writing my book. Alan, don't tell me you're still threatening to write that dumb history book.
He makes every movie good. Between Saul Rubinek and Oy Vey, My Son is Gay, to Garrett Graham, this movie is a who's who of past Snob episodes. Christine Baranski? Please let this be better than Marcy X. They keep ignoring her throughout their whole conversation, as if she was randomly sent over by Bowfinger, secretly directing the film. Don't worry, one of them hooks up with her.
Jesus H. Christ, are you guys homo?
This is his biggest turn-on. Get in the cab immediately. We'll leave Alan with another flashback within the flashback. Now they're in college. Jesus, Ted Mosby, just tell us who the mother is. I don't need to see you eating a sandwich in school. Though it is nice of them to turn the lights out during the sex scenes. It means I can show it.
I'm not dripping.
Alan, it's blood. You're bleeding.
Oh, God.
I'm assuming one of them is dressed like Strokey Mon. That'd be less awkward. Here's the line when they turn the lights on.
I'm probably the only man in the history of sex who ever bled when he lost his virginity.
Not true. I lost mine to a pineapple. This is the kind of universe where I assume it only rains on this man. He's so desperate to find the girl of his dreams, he actually goes to a police station to make a sketch of what his dream girl would look like.
Oh, God, yes, this is really her.
Yes, we all dream of marrying someone with chop-off-your-dick eyes. Careful, or Alan is gonna start to feel a little shallow. Like when he hatches an escape plan due to his current date talking way too much. Excuse me, but I was promised he would be rowing away on a bed. Not gonna lie, Alan seems a little dramatic. But one day he will soon be engaged to his beloved Daphne Moon. And when we come back, he'll go on more dates and complain about them.
And now it's time for Lloyd's Out of Context 911 Lone Star Clip of the Week.
Thank you guys for everything.
And this has been Lloyd's Out of Context 911 Lone Star Clip of the Week, where all clips are Lloyd approved.
Just in case you're wondering what movie we're watching, it title drops.
Soup for one. It's the story of my life.
We have a title in a scene that looks like it's only there to say the title because it has nothing to do with anything else. It moves right along to another singles night where Brian went to the Lloyd Christmas School of dressing up for a date. I see this working.
Dental hygiene. You know, I think that's a vastly underrated profession.
See, another successful night for him, another night of finding familiar Cinema Snob episodes for Alan. There's Andrea Martin. Christmas for Alan is going to be a black Christmas indeed. He's like a 1982 George Costanza. He complains a lot, but seems to have no problem hooking up. She's making every man's dream come true. She wants to do it on an Asteroids arcade.
Another moment has arrived. Seize it!
And her boobs give points! I'm surprised it's taken this long to flash back to his childhood.
I know that boys of your age attempted to take young ladies into closets and examine them.
Wow, I didn't think Ted Bundy's backstory would be so hilarious. Even in the main storyline, Garrett Graham is here to make sure that any minute now this could turn into an exploitation film. And just in case you didn't notice he walked in on an Ilsa film.
The girl that was on your bed last night, did you tie her up?
No.
Okay, this is totally a Woody Allen knockoff, but it does still have clever lines.
Ryan, look, I'm really happy that you're having so much fun, but I'm running home screaming today.
This is like a better version of Kissing a Fool. The charisma of the leads makes all the difference in the world. Also, it's hard for me to get upset at the movie. It's a heavy dialogue film about two deeply flawed friends, always at each other's throat, and there's a disco soundtrack, including sight gags involving people dressing like Saturday Night Fever to go to the same party. Did I write this movie in a past life? I like the gag where every single guy got the same idea to dress like Tony Manero. I'm kicking myself for not writing this.
And so, what's a nice girl like you doing in a place like this?
Although I'd probably write a different line than that, and they'd probably say fuck about 12 times for no reason.
Fuck off.
See? Something like that.
But this is where he meets the woman of his dreams. See? The disco suit works every time. Just jump into her cab and tell her this.
Where did you get this?
Who are you? Where do you come from? And how many children do you want?
Seems legit.
Maria is played by the late great Marcia Strassman of Welcome Back Kotter and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And while this meet cute is more of a meet creep, it's okay. He tracks her by finding her diaphragm and attempting to find her name and location by visiting her doctor. And yet this is still less creepy than Kissing a Fool. I've rarely seen a love interest hate the other character this much.
Oh no. Mr. Polyester, what are you doing here?
I sense good things about this relationship.
I remember when I lured someone away by showing them their diaphragm. I was maced! But the old diaphragm trick works here. He scored a lunch date. Play it cool, Alan.
Such an extraordinary thing that you've come into my life. It's like someone up there has actually been listening to me.
A benefit to a lot of this is that the movie seems well aware he's weird, like when the doctor shooed him away earlier. And here, where during his monologue, we see her straight up leaving in the background. No, you're doing it all wrong. You should have brought a lifeboat. I think we've gotten to the point to where the movie is even more random than Brian's newsreels.
Brian, hi. Yeah, I'm just showing the stuff to Chief Runningbrook. Yeah, oh no, the man is speechless, Brian.
Look, we found him in the hallway. Just put him in the movie, somewhere, anywhere.
Hell, it's too bad I can't show you more of the fact that Brian appears to live in a harem. Never mind a Woody Allen knockoff. Garrett is determined to turn this into a Caligula knockoff. But drama does come in when Brian wants to get a better job at another station in Hollywood. But as a side note, all I keep thinking about is that every other scene in the movie looks like it should end with Christopher Cross playing and the camera panning over to roll the end credits from Arthur. But back to the movie, even Alan is desperate to keep Garrett in the film.
If you leave, I'll fucking kill you.
How can you do something like this?
Alan.
And the scene gets weirder.
Hey, this man messing with you? Well, at the moment, my God.
New Yorkers have all come together to protect their Garrett Graham. You know, this movie really isn't that bad. When Brian says that he's engaged, it doesn't matter what he says. I am here to watch how this plays out.
Ryan, she's starring in a new play. What makes you think she's gonna just go off to Hollywood with you right away?
The woman's goal in life is to bear my child, Alan. We know this.
Yeah.
Huh?
He makes every line work. What helps is that Garrett Graham is great at saying a line like that with a smirk and irony. Alan, however, is back to annoying Maria by waiting outside her apartment.
Maria, just a second. Maria, hold on.
Sorry, she's more into the John Belushi type. Who knew that following someone who hates you upstairs to her apartment would turn out to be disastrous?
Do you have any idea how long I've been sitting out there on the street? My ass is now rent control.
Soup for one, because the entree filed a restraining order.
Your ass is now rent control?
Are you gonna let me in or what?
Never mind, the old rent control line always gets him in the mood. Seriously, I don't know about this guy.
You've attacked my gynecologist.
Oh, manner of speaking, eh?
You've looked up my address in the phone book and ambushed me on the street.
Well, when you put it like that, Alan sounds crazy.
Now, wouldn't it just be easier if you just asked me out on a date?
Sure!
Will you go out to dinner with me tonight?
Not if the fate of mankind hung in the balance.
Oh, thank God, it's still a restraining order romance. But it hasn't been filed yet, so he can still see himself in.
I heard a baby. Baby. Babies.
No, Alan.
There are babies
Alan,
in this
don't,
apartment.
No, Alan.
Relax, people. He may want to eat a baby, but it still gets weirder.
Do you know what this means? This means that when I marry you, I'll already have a son.
Luckily, he gets thrown out. I would have gotten shot. There's suddenly a lot to break down about these scenes. Never mind that she's a professional matchmaker. Here she makes the mistake of setting up a young Michael Jeter with another guy. Irony. His performance is simultaneously very dramatic and shticky.
I just cannot live with the man who calls me pumpkin.
What a bizarre scene that had nothing to do with anything. And yet her day still gets weirder, like Alan asleep on her floor with a child's toy.
Chinese food.
Alan, it's 1:30 in the morning.
Can't this guy just find a hooker?
Come on in.
Thank you.
Why not? You'll just burst into my apartment anyway. And before you think she's starting to like him...
Not that bad. Hi.
Can I do that?
She's still not sure if he wants to eat her baby or not. But whatever. Let's have dinner before we continue with the backstory on how Donnie became great with kids on Frasier. Believe it or not, this is all leading to a point later at the end. Which is good because when it does slow down and they have quiet lines together, they can have chemistry and he can be charming without sleeping outside her door for 8 hours. Plus, some lines hit close to home.
Alan, I can't go to bed with you.
Why?
Because you're short and you're weird.
Okay, now they're just ripping off lines from me and my wife's first date. Now, if you'll excuse me, we are watching a forgotten 80s movie, so you know what that means. Merchandise. Yes, this is as good a time as any to bring back the Saul shirt. No, not this Saul, the Windy City Saul, where for a limited time, you can get our classic Saul shirt over at our Bonfire store. Click on the link in the description and in the comments and get yours now before it's gone. All it takes is one night in bed together, and he's already bringing up marriage. That's a good sign. It means he's slowing down. Before, he was always bringing up children. Oh, and good news if you had James Rebhorn and Richard Libertini on your Who's Gonna Show Up in This Movie bingo card. Richard plays her dad, who he wants advice from on how to get her to marry him. Dude, we just met, stranger! I'm surprised the flashback to when he was a child didn't reveal that he's Ralph Wiggum falling in love over a Valentine's Day card. Thankfully, we are back to the real love story, the one with Brian.
She turned me down.
Brian, it's 2:30 in the morning.
You're one to talk! I genuinely feel bad Brian's relationship didn't work out. Wait, why is Maria's picture hung up like he's a serial killer who collects sketches of his victims? They then have a poignant moment where they realize that they are the age of parents and need to grow up. That way it can be one of those mature romantic comedies with a love montage. Somewhere rats are dancing and falling in love. See, Alan has definitely grown up.
Muriel, let's elope.
Go home, Alan.
No, I'm serious.
Never mind, this relationship hasn't even graduated to them mutually liking each other. I'm sure screaming at her will help.
You're afraid of your own feelings. You are terrified of someone who adores you.
I guess that means you won't be babysitting for Zach Monday, huh?
You want him to? Babysitters are hard to come by. Take him on the streets, why not? Take him to work at WPCP. Oh, that's why he's acting strange. No time for kids, though. We gotta rush to another familiar face.
Giannini, I'm looking for Angelo Giannini.
Giannini, that would be coronary care down the hall.
That nurse looks really familiar.
Hey, it's Grannis.
Oh, right, it's Maggie Wheeler. Makes sense. Alan's college girlfriend was Rachel's co-worker Sophie, but all it took was Maria's dad being on death's door for her to say, maybe we should get married. And now suddenly he doesn't want to marry her because, wait, have I been a messed up person this whole time?
This means that when I marry you, I'll already have a son. When I marry you, we hadn't even had our first date.
The movie gets points for being very self-aware and self-reflective about its character's flaws, right down to him flashing back to how his parents screwed him up so much with a false idea of marriage that he would kick his mom in the womb. And yes, the whole therapist wraparound has a punchline.
What do you want from me? All I want to know is, do you want the couch or don't you?
This means I'm a...
Not bad. He got all caught up in flashback land that he's late for his own wedding, where, once again, Garrett is dressed as something from the Lloyd Christmas line. They're all acting surprised that he dragged along the couch salesman with him, but really, this seems par for the course with Alan, right down to the salesman giving a speech.
We all need someplace off to park our keisters, right?
This all makes sense to me. So this is why a lot of this works. Normally when you see something kind of dated, you'll have a deeply flawed character where it comes across like the writers aren't aware their character is a creep, like Until September, for instance. But here, it's so 100% aware of it that the wedding scene is the writers saying, this couple can't get married. She's doing it because her dad is sick. He's doing it because he's a lovesick nightmare. This marriage would be a disaster. He should leave and be with his one true love. Yes, his true love, the title of the movie. While I wish it just ended here, a lesser movie would have had them straight up get back together at the end, but I admire it's sort of left up to interpretation.
Last name first. We'll see what we can do for you.
Okay, that either means they're getting back together, or she's saying, F you, I'll set you up with someone terrible out of spite. The movie certainly has its flaws, and it wouldn't exist without other movies like Annie Hall and Manhattan, but it does still have some clever lines, funny sight gags, and it has a cast that immediately elevates the material. Garrett Graham is hilarious, and Saul Rubinek has a natural likability that at least makes you want to see where the movie is going, whereas if the lead didn't have that, this character would be hard to watch. Of all the forgotten movies that won the Patreon poll, it's easily the best one I've watched so far. I would have liked to have seen more from this director, but he only directed one other film after this, the 1997 film Bad Manners, which also featured Saul Rubinek. While Windy City may be our go-to example of the little-remembered big chill-sploitation, Soup, for one, will always be a reminder of the forgotten Woody Allen-sploitation, much like the 1979 film Something Short of Paradise. What, you forgot that film too? You don't say. We better make that one the Soup for One replacement in the next Patreon poll. Although Soup for One does leave us with one very big disappointment. At no point did he ever row away on a bed in the water.
You have experienced the male orgasm. You have experienced the female orgasm. Which is better?
In the tradition of Windy City, and an even larger poster of Windy City, comes Something Short of Paradise. The two movies really aren't anything alike, other than they were both the stock 5th choice on the Patreon polls for a while. And when this one won, it was quite a win, as in it won by a single vote after spending well over a couple of years on the polls. Will it be worth the very long wait for it to finally become an episode? Of course not. It never is. Winning the poll killed Saul. So what Something Short of Paradise is a very Annie Hall-like Woodysploitation movie from 1979 about the on-off-again relationship of a journalist, played by Susan Sarandon, and a theater owner, played by David Steinberg, which could still be good. I quite enjoyed the last number 5 choice poll winner, Soup for One, which was heavily influenced by Woody Allen, but had the strong comedic timing of Saul Rubinek and Garrett Graham to carry it. This film comes from director David Halpern and producer James Gutman, previously of documentaries like Hollywood on Trial and I'm a Stranger Here Myself. This would be his only fictional film and also the last movie he would direct, but did continue on as a producer on stuff like Dead Heat. Their idea was for it to be like an old Hollywood romance set in modern-day New York, and for that they got screenwriter Fred Barron, who wrote the acclaimed 1977 Jeff Goldblum movie Between the Lines, and would later write for The Larry Sanders Show, and created series like Caroline in the City and Dave's World. I just want to know who created the tagline, "Love isn't blind, just a little nearsighted." Guess that means the movie will end with their relationship getting fixed with lasers. So this movie was theatrical, even if the start does have a very TV feel to it. Excellent establishing shot. Let's check in on what the gang from Taxi is up to. I hope it's the one where Jim gets his license. It's rare I see a movie start out with another movie. Say, the best part of this is that he's the only one in the theater. If this French romance gets all hot, he can butter the popcorn himself. It's like watching Travis Bickle as a film snob. Why didn't you take Sybil Shepherd here? All you need to know is that Harris here loves the movies. You like Play It Again, Sam, where Woody was super into Casablanca? Here's Harris watching a fake movie called Primo Primo, with opening credits that say we're in for all kinds of staples of classic rom-coms. Movies where everybody knows your name. There may even be spanking, punching a man in the throat, and, wait, is Crispin Glover ageless? I knew he was a god. That's some X-Files shit. Hey, why not? Mark Snow does the music for this too. They could have at least showed something from Zorba the Greek. Walter LaSalle shot this movie and won an Oscar for shooting Zorba. Naturally, the movie will start out with some classic New York versus LA talk.
Well, that's very
you know. See, you don't see that kind of thing walking around in LA.
Well, they're all in cars.
Yeah.
You're both from Tallahassee, cut it out. So it's the premiere of a new French film, where Harris's theater is handling an appearance from the movie's star. I can identify with this movie. Finally, a film with more posters in the background than in my review for it. They need to remake this, that way they can put a poster for Guy Ritchie's Swept Away in the background. They'll explain why Harris is so down.
Kinda touchy, isn't he?
Well, he hasn't really been himself since he broke up with his girlfriend.
Thanks, last-minute ADR. All we need now is looking up at a poster, pondering, and then that wavy flashback fade. What? I didn't think you were actually gonna do that! Sarandon is Madeline Ross, here with her friend, wait, Marilyn Sokol? Lulu from Can't Stop the Music? I'd like to see a movie about handling that premiere. And there's Harris, scoping out if anyone forgot their mantra. I bet this meet cute will be super New York and stuttery.
Old-fashioned. I'm old-fashioned.
You're also eating the salad dressing.
Oh, yeah. Well, what I like to do is I eat the salad dressing first.
Sorry, I was raised in Utah. What I wouldn't kill for a party with fry sauce. Sheesh! This would be the only starring role for Steinberg, a great stand-up comedian, writer, and director who's done great directing work on television like Seinfeld, Mad About You, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Friends, and the most famous of all, Eisenhower and Lutz. Here, though, his note from the director is no matter what happens, be nervous.
You see, this is a very dangerous neighborhood.
It is?
Oh, sure. I mean, that man is either a killer or an NYU professor.
I was able to step in and give him a good lecture about our Sonny Chiba triple feature, where I learned all of my karate moves. He does not do the week-long waiting period to call.
This isn't too late to call, is it?
Oh, no, I'm really glad that you did. I want to talk to you.
I think I left my wallet at the party. Can you see if they have it? It is one of those movies where a stand-up monologue will happen after every line.
Actually, I just called to see if this was the right number. You know, because a lot of people might give out one number, turns out to be another one, you never know, so I just thought, check it out.
I couldn't dip into my laundry quarters for the payphone. I don't know, it does feel like they're only going on walks together and day dates because the movie says they have to, so they can do the reluctantly doing housework stuff from Annie Hall.
You said you wanted to do this.
I know.
You said you really wanted to do
Yeah, that was me.
I see, so you're a guy who goes back on his word, huh?
Yeah.
He'll paint the room, but getting live lobsters out from behind the fridge is a deal breaker. If I didn't know they were romantic interests and just came into this scene, I wouldn't think they'd end up together. I'd think, oh, it's the classic gay best friend in one of these. See, they're even going to the movies.
It's an Indian film. It's one of those great Indian films.
Awesome, he's taking her to see Hero Panty 2. But it's hard for me to get mad at any movie with a cutaway like this.
I'm in big trouble.
I didn't have my proper platform shoes and silk dress to hit the dance floor, and I don't want to be the only one discoing the night away with a guy in a sweater vest. Look, even David Rash is trying to step in. Who's he playing?
Who is that?
Dave Ritchie, he works with me.
They thought of that off the top of their head. Hey, did we give David Rash's character a name? I don't know, David Ritchie? Harris is there to protect her from anyone wearing a mustache and Crisco on the chest hair.
Hey, pretty lady.
What's Harry Reams got that I don't got? Oh boy, this night's gonna end hot. Okay, let's take a break and, I don't know, put some music on or something. Maybe polish off the rest of this wine bottle.
Eisenhower and Lutz. Sponsored by Pepto-Bismol. For most common stomach discomforts, the one that coats is the only one you need.
We're back, and see, putting on some KC and the Sunshine Band elevates the mood. Though he will definitely make pillow talk weird.
You're luscious. You're beautiful.
You're never gonna call me again, are you? Harris wants to move fast, and I mean really fast.
If two people like each other, why don't they live together?
You're upset.
No, I'm not upset. I just don't want to talk about it.
Okay, the chemistry here is, a bit off. In the scene where they sit there and read food ingredients, they have better chemistry with the boxes.
You know, Madeline, what I really hate are the silences. I hate silences. All I suggested was that you move in.
You've only known each other for a week, and this look says it's been a week too long. Best time for another dissolve to the present. Is that supposed to make me be like, oh man, I hope these two work their shit out and get back together? Oh right, she's a journalist, I forgot. Hi David, I'll get the numbers sent up to Logan Roy immediately. Susan Sarandon is still very good in this, and of course feels natural no matter what she does. She has good timing too, like when she accidentally takes a drink of a soda that has a cigarette butt in it. Hell, in a lot of scenes, all she has to do is give an expression when the other person is in the midst of salon speak.
So I say to him, Sam, his name is Sam, you ask me out for dinner and I end up with a bowl of salted nuts. What am I, a chipmunk?
To which he replies, you are you and I am I.
Okay, why isn't she with Harris? I would believe that coupling. But just because this is a rom-com doesn't mean that it can't have a jump scare.
Hey, your door's unlocked.
Ah, the most neurotic home invader I've ever seen! Don't you worry, Joe Grafassi will get his comeuppance when Two-Face puts his fate in the hands of a coin. All you gotta remember here is Harris and Madeline broke up. That explains his loose scripts where he wrote several movies about their split.
Why do you go into hiding? Ever since you and Madeline split up, you've been impossible.
The ADR will always be on hand to tell us the relationship status. No time for that, they gotta pick up actor Jean Fidel, the star of Primo Primo, played by Jean-Pierre Amont, who may be from another country, but they all have the same banter.
Même leurs babies tous. Why does he call me a baby tooth?
A baby tooth?
Yes.
I don't know.
You gotta be very dialogue-y to be able to live in this town. Jean, you'll be the French George Segal of the movie. Even when characters leave a message, they have to do a routine.
Maddie? Christ, I hate these machines. About your Miss Venezuela piece, call me. Damn these machines, get rid of it.
And another thing, Maddie, why don't we bring back carrier pigeons? When the birds delivered my messages, it meant they were too busy to crap on my car. And don't cut me off with a flashback.
This is Madeline Ross. I'm not in right now, but if you
Yes, she is.
Classic sitcom staple of figuring out their outgoing message. I double-checked to see if Steinberg directed the Friends episode where they recorded their message, or the Seinfeld with George's message, but he did not. Missed opportunity. So back to her quirky neighbor Neil Diamond helping her with her phone. I have so many questions about this, and not just about the romance, but more so, is he just wearing glasses on the poster so they can have that tagline? So far, he has yet to ever wear glasses in the movie. And if he did have glasses, he'd just complain about them, like he's doing now with parties.
I hate parties. No one ever enjoys himself at parties. All you do is you just sit around and you have a lot of small talk.
You can definitely tell Steinberg directed some Curb Your Enthusiasm. He's very nervous about David showing up at the party, and I would be too. Immediately, Madeline and David have way better chemistry. Even her friend is like, what, you didn't really think you two were gonna end up together, right? Like I said, their chemistry is also better.
You could tone it down a little bit.
Tone what down?
You are a very intense person.
I'm not intense.
You're not intense. You are the most intense person that I have ever known.
It's rare that I've seen a movie that is this unaware that the wrong people are getting together. I mean, look at this. These two are so good on camera. I'm sitting here watching it like, are they actually sleeping together? Then Harris comes in, like the dweeb who usually gets dumped in one of these because he has allergies. Only Bill Pullman was way more likable in Sleepless in Seattle. Whereas Harris here...
He returns with good cheer.
Hey, we're talking here, do you mind?
That's a mentally stable reaction. Jesus, she looks terrified. Now let's drive home and make sure to film it like a thriller all of the sudden. Every look she gives is a look of sheer hatred.
Get your hands off the car.
Thanks for a great evening.
Get your hands off the car.
Will you call me tomorrow?
Get your hands off the car.
Christ, at least Alvy and Annie loved each other sometimes. Yeah, it made sense they broke up, but it also made sense they were together. Steinberg is incredibly talented, and I could see him working as a supporting character in something like this. But here, the chemistry just isn't there. Even he is bothering her with machine talk.
I'm not gonna have enough time to say anything on this damn machine. I hate machines. If I want to talk to a machine, Madeline, I'd call IBM.
Guess that's why they broke up. She caught him with a spark robot that caught the bed on fire. The montage will fill us in on their lives. Barney would rather play dead than play cards. His new dates hate him as much as Maddie, and we need to get the title song in. Something short of paradise. Yeah, yes, but was the song different when the movie had a stint on video where it was retitled Perfect Love? As perfect as his skills on the dance floor. I would say that he can't focus on dancing because of Maddie and David being there, but it's only because their names reminded him he's missing the latest episode of Moonlighting. It's high time these two talked it out, as sitcom-y as possible.
Do you know what time it is?
I don't care what time it is.
Look, I'm sorry about all of this. There's no need for
Why are
anyone
you
to get this.
apologizing to them? Why don't you apologize to me?
I didn't mean it to them.
Surely it will be his magical power of dialogue that wins her back.
You perverts, you can't talk like that in front of my wife.
If we're perverts, we can say anything we like. That's the right of perverts.
Oh sure, but when I casually talk my pervert speak, I get an eviction notice. And why does he keep breaking things? Whatever, at least it's played for laughs here. Let's take care of you. Sure, you have anger problems, but at least you got hurt this time. They didn't even talk about anything. They just yelled at the neighbors and had banter about perverts. But hey, they miss each other.
God.
Shit, I missed you.
Why? So she wants to take things slow, and the main line he's been saying repeatedly is, let's move in together. They'll show more in a montage. This montage is very necessary. Look, he's wearing the glasses, and they're in the outfits from the poster. Good job, we have the shot, and we can use that nearsighted tagline. I still think that's the only reason he is wearing glasses in a scene. They're happy as long as fresh air doesn't get in the way.
I hate it. I said I hate it. I told you I was going to hate it, and I hate it. I don't know what it is. The fresh air. I hate fresh air. It makes me sick.
I hate.
But anyway, as they check into the Great Northern Hotel from Twin Peaks, I sense more Seinfeld banter.
And I can't rightly give you a room unless you've got a card.
We made reservations. You took our deposit.
Damn it, he didn't direct the reservation episode either, but he did direct the one where Elaine leaves a dirty message on a tape recorder. Quick, Maddie, leave a sexy recording! Apparently they're staying at the hotel manager's sister's house, where they're on twin beds. This is really episodic, mixed in with a clip show. We get another montage here. I'm fine with that. If there's a montage going on, he won't be complaining. I'm sporting a real game of ants in the pants. Ooh, that itch. At least he's learned to take it slow.
Hey, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Want to get married?
Right, because the whole let's move in together thing worked out so well. She's been a bit standoffish about relationships due to her previous boyfriend, but really, Harris isn't helping either.
He's someone else entirely. I'm me and he's him. You got a problem with him, you got a problem with him. If you got a problem with me, it's me.
Don't worry, he'll calm down and turn the charm back on.
You're no prize yourself, you know that? You're no prize yourself. You insult me, you hurt me, and I'm sick of it. I hate it. I hate it.
Well, these Patreon polls where the drama wins always give me a long line of movies featuring the worst couples put on film. Like, my God, it doesn't land if I'm only seeing everything that sucks about their relationship. Showing me a shot of them laughing and playing with a dog doesn't count. But now we're caught up to the present. I'm also having trouble following the timeline in this too. Oh right, the thing about the French actor in the press conference. Let's take a break. This guy's gonna be talking about his divorce for a while. Whatever.
He's today's hottest comedian. So the police come over your house, they fill out the report. You ever find anything? No. It's a stand-up sitcom all in one. It's Seinfeld, Thursday after Cheers on NBC.
We're back, and uh-oh, Maddie is there covering the Jean Fidel press conference. I sure hope they see each other again. Wait, no I don't. Hang out backstage till she leaves. She's gonna walk in, isn't she?
Don't worry, Bonnie, I'm
Why don't you wait downstairs with the others?
Oof, I still have the ants in the pants, you bitch. Maybe the presser will liven things up.
How does it feel to be considered one of the 10 sexiest men in the world?
There are 9 others?
Okay, that was good. Another character more charming than Harris, and another character who has better chemistry with Maddie. Hell, their best moment together is their awkward post-breakup run-in. At least they're smiling and laughing here. If the point is that they're better as exes, I guess that works. See, look, she's got a date with Jean Fidel. She's very nervous about this date, but can't stop thinking about Harris.
You know, that shit looks better now than it did when we were dating.
You're still really into him, huh?
Please don't be. We can even bring back the creepy music when Harris finds out that this guy set Maddie and Jean Fidel up.
Madeline something now. Madeline Ross.
Kidding. He plays it cool.
You're a regular pimp, aren't you, Edgar?
Never thought of it that way.
I suppose you never thought of having your face smashed in either, did you?
So he threatened to kick his ass and called Maddie a whore? Anyways, let's just all sit down and continue on with our delightful conversation as if you didn't just spill my food on me. And even that gets worse.
I'm gonna check tonight's receipts. I'll see you later.
I can think of a rageaholic class that this guy needs to attend. This movie isn't very good. This isn't very good at all. You can hear him angrily banging on her door at night. At least in Soup for One, he had the realization of, wait, this isn't how to handle things. We cannot end up together. Soup for One was very self-aware about his flaws. Not here. I'm like, I hope Harris doesn't ruin their date. When he searches for her in the disco, I'm more nervous than I was when a serial killer went to a disco and burnt a girl's face with a candle in Don't Go in the House. Also, some friend who tells the angry and belligerent Harris where she is. There's shots like it's Eyes Wide Shut and he's gonna go on a sexual adventure while fantasizing about how she's hooking up with someone else in black and white. There are a lot of problems with this movie. I do love a dialogue-heavy, walk-and-talk relationship film like this. I can tell they're trying to add extra levels of wit to the lines, and they are fun types of movies to write. I like writing banter like this, but it is tricky because if not pulled off, they can feel less like characters and more like you're just looking at a script and you can feel the lines being read. Like here, it's not very natural, which you could make up for if the two had chemistry, but they don't. There is zero chemistry here. The relationship is never, ever believable. All the cliches are here too. She's helped Jean Fidel by giving him advice on his ex-wife, so yes, they're at an airport, and Harris has to race to said airport. Again, something that played better in Play It Again Sam, because at least that was intending to follow some of the same sequences from Casablanca, so of course they'll get back together. He just has to shout first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to shout. She makes me shout. I didn't mean to shout, but she makes me shout.
Harris, this whole thing was a mistake.
I love you.
Sure. Well, I don't know what in the hell that was, but I know it was something short of good. But hey, I love stumbling across these movies that came, went, have been totally forgotten about for decades, and then trying to mine some kind of material out of it for a video. Because no one ever spotlights anything like Something Short of Paradise. The trickiest part is always finding what the next stock choice will be in the Patreon polls. I'm thinking that movie where Winona Ryder goes from the country to the big city and meets Rob Lowe as a mentally challenged man. Don't y'all remember Square Dance? Of course not. No one does. Perfect choice.
Am I boring you?
No.
Then I'm not drunk yet.
Something short